Today I will share with you some life-changing philosophy. Before we start, make sure to like the video and subscribe. Also, comment where are you watching from and at what time you are watching. Have a nice sleep. In the whirlwind of our daily lives where challenges loom at every corner, the strength to not just survive but thrive is something we all yearn to harness. Imagine, then, not merely pushing through but evolving through every trial, emerging not only unscathed but stronger, wiser, and more resilient. Today, we delve into the core of what it means to be unbreakable. We explore the 6 defining habits of mentally strong people, habits that are not inherited but forged in the fires of discipline and self-reflection. Each moment of hardship, every instance where life knocks you down, these are not merely obstacles but opportunities that mentally strong people leverage to fortify their inner strength. What if I told you that the secret to enduring strength isn't about never falling, but about learning the art of rising every time we fall? It's about embracing the pain, learning from the turbulence, and transforming turmoil into triumph. So if you see the value in turning challenges into stepping stones, then join us, subscribe, and become part of a community committed to building strength. Are you ready to discover the incredible potential that lies beyond your trials? Let's get started. The very nature of life is change, yet how often do we find ourselves fighting it, resisting it, as if we could somehow escape the inevitable? The truth is, change is not just a part of life, it is life itself. Stoic philosophy teaches us that the only constant is change, and the mastery of one's life lies in the ability to adapt. To be mentally strong, to truly thrive in the midst of life's tempests, one must not only accept change, but welcome it with open arms. Think about the last time you faced a significant change. Perhaps it was a move to a new city, a shift in your career, or even a change in a personal relationship. Was it uncomfortable? Did it feel like you were losing a part of yourself? These feelings are natural, but here lies the crucial insight. Within that discomfort lies a profound opportunity for growth. Imagine for a moment that you are a ship at sea. Change is the wind. It can be unpredictable, wild, and frightening. But those who are mentally strong are the skilled sailors, adept at adjusting their sails, using the wind to propel them forward rather than be dashed against the rocks. They understand something fundamental, that the wind is not their enemy but a force that can be harnessed to explore new horizons. Stoicism offers a perspective that change, no matter how daunting, carries with it the seeds of new strength. It teaches us that what we initially perceive as setbacks are often veiled opportunities. It's about perception. The Stoic emperor Marcus Aurelius once said, "Our actions may be impeded, but there can be no impeding our intentions or dispositions, because we can accommodate and adapt." The mind adapts and converts to its own purposes the obstacle to our acting, and this adaptation, this resilience, is at the core of mental strength. Let me share a story that illustrates the power of embracing change. It's about a friend of mine who lost his job, a career he had built over decades. Initially, he was devastated, overwhelmed by uncertainty and fear, but then he took a step that many might find counterintuitive. He embraced this dramatic change. He used his newfound time to pursue a passion he had always placed on the back burner: painting. Fast forward to today, and he not only found solace in his art, but has turned it into a thriving new career path. This wouldn't have been possible if he hadn't embraced the winds of change, stepping into the unknown with courage. So, how can you start to embrace change? Begin by viewing each change as an experiment, a step towards discovering new aspects of yourself. Whether it's changing a habit, altering your routine, or even changing the way you think about change itself, each step is a lesson, each pivot a chapter in your story of growth. Remember, every time you embrace change, you're not just adapting, you're setting the stage for transformation. Change breaks the old to make way for the new, and in that newness, you find new strengths, new passions, and new paths to happiness that you could never have anticipated. This isn't just about suppressing what you feel. Far from it. It's about understanding your emotions, channeling them constructively, and maintaining equilibrium even in the face of life's upheavals. We've all been there, right? Those moments when our feelings seem to get the better of us, clouding our judgment, dictating our actions. But what if we could master these tempestuous seas, navigate through them with the composure of a Stoic philosopher? Stoicism teaches us that while we cannot control what happens to us, we absolutely can control how we respond. Picture this. You're faced with a situation that typically sends your heart racing and your mind spiraling into a vortex of what-ifs and whys. Now, imagine observing your reaction as an outsider, acknowledging the surge of emotion but choosing a different response. You take a breath. You pause. In that pause lies your power. The power to choose a response that aligns with your values, not just your instincts. This approach doesn't mean your emotions are invalid or that they should be ignored. Quite the contrary. It means you recognize and respect your feelings without letting them steer your life off course. It's about saying, yes, I feel this anger or anxiety, but I choose not to let it dominate my actions. It's about reclaiming control, one thought, one decision at a time. Think of the last time you faced a stressful situation. Maybe it was a disagreement with a friend, a setback at work, or a financial strain. Reflect on how you reacted. Did your emotions lead to actions you later regretted? Now, let's reimagine that scenario. This time, you channel your inner Stoic. You allow yourself to feel the emotion fully and without judgment. You observe it, understand its source, and then gently but firmly guide it to a place of reason and wisdom. This self-regulation is not about denial, it's about management and transformation. It's turning the heat of anger into the light of understanding. It's transforming the paralysis of fear into the clarity of caution. By mastering our emotions, we don't just endure life's challenges, we thrive amidst them. We turn our emotional energy into fuel for personal growth and achievement. And here's something else. Each time you successfully manage an emotional response, you build a little more resilience, a little more strength. Like a muscle that grows stronger with exercise, your emotional resilience expands with each challenge faced and overcome. You begin to trust in your ability to handle whatever comes your way, not because you are the master of it. So, next time you find yourself in the whirlwind of emotional turmoil, remember this. You have the tools to calm the storm. You can acknowledge your emotions as natural, but choose actions that are rational. Embrace the Stoic wisdom that has empowered countless souls through millennia, not as a suppression of emotion, but as a transformation of it. Harness it, mold it, and let it elevate you to heights you never thought possible. In a world that never sleeps, where the demands on our time and energy are incessant, learning to set boundaries is not just wise, it's essential. Stoicism teaches us the value of self-mastery and inner tranquility, but how often do we sacrifice these for the sake of others? The truth is, without setting firm boundaries, we risk not only our well-being, but also our ability to pursue what truly matters. Think of your energy as a sacred reserve, a finite source that fuels not only your daily activities, but also your deepest passions and pursuits. When this reserve is depleted by the countless demands of others, be they work commitments, social obligations, or even the subtle pressures of digital media, what's left for you? How can you pursue your personal goals or invest in self-care when your energy has been spent on everything but yourself? Setting boundaries is thus not about selfishness, it's about self-preservation. It's about discerning what truly deserves your time and energy, and having the courage to say no to the rest. Stoic philosophy doesn't call us to turn away from the world, but to engage with it on our terms, to ensure that our interactions are intentional and our commitments meaningful. Let me tell you a story about a close friend of mine, someone who always went the extra mile for everyone. She was the first to arrive and the last to leave. The person who volunteered for every project, who never said no. Initially, it seemed like her boundless energy knew no limits, until it did. One day, she confided in me that she felt exhausted, not just physically but emotionally. She was giving so much to others that she had forgotten to give to herself. After much reflection, inspired partly by the Stoic practice of self-reflection, she began to set boundaries. She started small, by limiting the number of projects she would take on, and by carving out time for her hobbies. The change wasn't instant, but over time, she found herself feeling less drained and more fulfilled. She was still generous with her time, but now it was on her terms, ensuring she had enough left for the things that truly enrich her life. How then can we start setting these vital boundaries? It begins with self-awareness. Take a moment to reflect on what parts of your life feel overwhelming or draining. Is it a particular commitment that brings more stress than satisfaction? Or perhaps it's a relationship that demands more than it gives back. Recognizing these drains on your energy is the first step toward setting boundaries. Next, communicate these boundaries clearly and firmly. This doesn't mean being confrontational. Rather, it's about being honest with others about what you can and cannot do, what you are willing to accept and what you are not. It's about teaching others how to treat you by showing them what you value. And finally, enforce these boundaries. It's one thing to set them, it's another to maintain them. This might mean turning down invitations, stepping back from obligations that no longer serve you, or simply learning to prioritize your own needs alongside those of others. This enforcement isn't a one-time act, but a continuous process that requires dedication and commitment. In the tapestry of life, every thread you weave plays a part in the larger picture of your story. Each decision, every action holds the weight of potential outcomes, and understanding this is pivotal. In the world of Stoicism, there is a profound emphasis on the concept of taking responsibility, not just in our actions but also in our reactions. The Stoic philosophers taught that while we cannot always control what happens to us, we have absolute power over how we respond. This doctrine isn't just about accountability, it's about empowerment. Let's delve into a narrative that perhaps we've all lived in one way or another. Picture yourself working on a project that's close to your heart. You've poured in hours, days, maybe even months of effort. But despite your dedication, things go awry. It's a familiar scenario, isn't it? Maybe the results fell short of expectations, or an unforeseen issue threw everything off course. It's in moments like these that your character is tested. Do you look outward, casting blame on circumstances or others? Or do you look inward, assessing what part you played in the outcome? I remember a time when I faced a similar situation. It was a project I believed in deeply, and initially, when it didn't pan out, my first instinct was to blame external factors. The timing was off, the resources were insufficient, the support wasn't adequate. But upon reflection, a fundamental Stoic practice, I realized that these were elements I could have anticipated, perhaps even mitigated. Acknowledging that I had missed these signs was tough. It's not easy to admit our oversights. However, this admission was a turning point. It shifted my perspective from one of blame to one of learning. I asked myself, what can this teach me? Instead of, why did this happen to me? This shift is crucial. It transforms moments of failure into opportunities for growth. When you take responsibility for your actions, you move from a passive state, where life happens to you, to an active state, where you happen to life. You start to see every challenge as a stepping stone rather than a stumbling block. This doesn't mean you won't encounter frustrations or disappointments, but instead of allowing them to defeat you, you use them as fuel to forge ahead, to refine your strategies and to strengthen your resolve. Taking responsibility might sound daunting, but it begins with simple, everyday decisions. Start by owning your choices, both big and small. Did a conversation not go as planned? Reflect on your words and consider how different approaches might yield different results. Was a goal not achieved? Evaluate your methods and determine what adjustments are necessary to succeed next time. Each act of responsibility reinforces your agency and your capacity to influence your destiny. And remember, taking responsibility is not about shouldering a burden of guilt. It's about embracing a position of control. It's about saying, here is where I can do better, not, here is where I failed. The Stoics believed in focusing on efforts, not outcomes, and in finding value in every experience, positive or negative. In the relentless pursuit of our goals, we often become our own harshest critics. It's easy to spiral into self-doubt and criticism when things don't go according to plan. But what if I told you that the secret to sustained success and inner peace lies not in constant self-critique, but in practicing self-compassion? This isn't just about being kind to yourself. It's about acknowledging your struggles, accepting your imperfections, and still choosing to nurture your spirit, much like the Stoics, who emphasized understanding and managing our own perceptions and reactions. Consider the times you faced setbacks or failures. Think about how you responded. Did you berate yourself, or did you take a moment to offer yourself understanding and grace? The journey to achieving anything significant is often riddled with obstacles and setbacks. It's how you speak to yourself in these moments that can either forge a path forward or create a barrier that is hard to break. I remember once, after a particularly challenging project, I found myself caught in a storm of self-criticism. I had worked tirelessly, yet the outcome was far from what I had hoped for. Initially, my inner dialogue was harsh, filled with messages of failure and self-doubt. But then I paused. I realized that if a friend had come to me with the same story, I would have offered words of encouragement and support, not criticism. Why, then, was I not offering the same to myself? Self-compassion is this shift in dialogue. It's treating yourself with the same kindness and understanding you would offer a friend. The Stoics teach us not to be disturbed by events, but by our perception of these events. By practicing self-compassion, you alter your perception of your experiences from negative to nurturing. This doesn't mean shying away from responsibility or ignoring your mistakes. Instead, it means accepting your imperfections, learning from them, and moving forward without the heavy baggage of self-judgment. Practicing self-compassion starts with recognizing your humanity. Understand that to err is human, to struggle is part of growth. When you make a mistake, instead of diving into a sea of self-criticism, ask yourself, what can this teach me? Use setbacks as learning points, not as anchors that pull you down. Another step is to be mindful of your inner critic. Listen to the voices in your head and challenge them. Are they fair? Are they helpful? Would you say them to someone else? If not, it's time to reframe them. Replace critical thoughts with supportive, compassionate ones. This shift not only changes how you view yourself, but also how you interact with the world. Moreover, make self-compassion a regular practice. Just like physical exercise strengthens the body, regular moments of self-compassion strengthen your mental and emotional resilience. Set aside time to reflect on your day. Focus on what you did well and where you could improve, always through a lens of compassion. Embracing self-compassion means breaking free from the confines of self-doubt and adopting a more forgiving, understanding approach to personal challenges. It allows you to celebrate small victories while constructively learning from the losses. With self-compassion, you are not just surviving, you are thriving, learning to sail smoothly on the rough seas of life. In a world that constantly changes, the ability to keep learning and evolving is not just a skill, it's a necessity. Imagine navigating life's vast ocean with the relentless spirit of a voyager, one who knows that behind every horizon lies new knowledge and endless possibilities. This is the essence of mental strength, a perpetual thirst for growth, a deep-seated resolve to never stand still. It's about embracing the Stoic belief that life is a teacher and every experience a lesson. Remember, the path to self-improvement isn't paved with dramatic breakthroughs, but with continuous small steps of progress. Each step is a piece in the puzzle of who you are and who you might become. Think about the last time you learned something new, how it felt, the excitement, and sometimes the frustration. Did it change the way you think? Did it inspire you to explore further? This is the power of learning. It transforms your mind, expands your horizons, and reshapes your world. Let me share a personal story that illustrates this transformative power of continuous learning. A few years ago, I decided to delve into the art of photography. At first, it was merely a hobby, a way to capture moments of beauty. But as I learned more about the techniques, the history, and the stories behind each image, photography became more than just a pastime. It became a new lens through which I viewed the world. It taught me about light and shadow, about perspective, and most importantly, about the details that we often overlook. Each photograph became a lesson in patience and observation, and each lesson enhanced not just my skills with the camera, but my skills in life. To never stop learning is to maintain a state of readiness, to be adaptable in the face of change, and to always be prepared to seize new opportunity. It's about being curious and allowing that curiosity to propel you forward. Ask questions, seek answers, and challenge yourself to step outside your comfort zone. Whether it's picking up a new book, starting a new course, or simply exploring a new hobby, every new venture is a step toward becoming a more rounded, enlightened individual. Embracing continuous learning also means acknowledging that we never fully arrive. There is always something more to know, some new skill to acquire. This might seem daunting, but within this realization lies true freedom. The freedom to reinvent oneself, to innovate, and to pivot without fear of the unknown. Stoicism teaches us not to fear failure, but to use it as a catalyst for growth. So when faced with challenges, don't shy away, dive deeper, learn from them, and emerge stronger. Moreover, make this journey of learning a shared one. Engage with others who are on their own paths of discovery. Exchange ideas, debate theories, and collaborate on projects. These interactions not only enrich your learning experience, but also build a community of like-minded individuals who support and inspire each other. Remember that the goal is not just to accumulate information, but to understand deeply, to apply wisely, and to live fully. So, I urge you, keep pushing the boundaries of what you know. Keep challenging the limits of what you can do. After all, in the words of the great philosopher Seneca, as long as you live, keep learning how to live. We often neglect the one person who is with us every step of the way, ourselves. It's easy to fall into the rhythm of solving problems for others and being a pillar of strength. Yet, when the curtains close and we're left in the quiet of our own company, the silence can be overwhelming. Stoicism reminds us that we are the masters of our own inner fortress, and the care we afford ourselves should be as rigorous and disciplined as a soldier preparing for battle. This isn't about indulgence, it's about survival. It's about ensuring that our energy, peace, and well-being are protected with the vigilance of a seasoned general who knows that the strength of an empire depends upon the resilience of its leader. As we delve into today's discussion on making ourselves a priority, remember, if this resonates with you, a simple free favor you could do is hit the subscribe button. Don't skip any part of the video. Every piece of wisdom here builds on the last, creating a blueprint for not just surviving, but thriving on your own terms. Join me on this journey, and let's explore these historical teachings together. Let's embrace Stoicism, not just as a philosophy, but as a daily practice to secure our personal well-being. Think about how many promises you've made to yourself and broken. How often have you planned to exercise, go to bed earlier, or eat healthier, only to let something else take priority? Now consider, if a friend behaved this way toward you, would you still trust them? Often we are the first to break promises to ourselves because we believe there are no consequences. Yet the real consequence is a profound lack of self-respect. If you want to inspire respect and take control of your life, you must start with respecting yourself. Whether you aim for better health, more wealth, inner peace, or greater discipline, maintaining your commitments is essential. Temporary changes won't suffice. Marcus Aurelius, despite ruling an empire and facing constant wars and betrayals, diligently recorded his reflections and flaws daily. He never outsourced his personal growth or discipline. This dedication to self-improvement begs the question: do you treat yourself as a priority, or are you neglecting your personal evolution, treating it as something that can be indefinitely postponed? The first commitment must be to yourself, not your boss, not your friends, and not your family. If you promise to rise early, then rise. If you commit to a project, see it through. Every time you break a promise to yourself, you reinforce a self-image of unworthiness and unreliability. But when you honor your commitments, you will notice a significant boost in self-esteem. You'll feel more in control, realizing you don't need external motivation. Your commitment is enough. This is the essence of discipline. Acting not out of immediate desire, but from a deep-seated decision to respect yourself. The world will indeed test this commitment. There will always be distractions, easier paths, excuses, but in these moments you must decide, will you default to excuses or will you fulfill your commitments? Remember, Stoicism teaches that we control only our actions, our responses. You might not control the circumstances around you, but you can always control how you react. The moment to act, the opportunity to uphold your commitments is now. Not tomorrow, not when conditions are perfect, because such a moment doesn't exist. So, what have you been postponing? What promise to yourself have you left unfulfilled? Whether it's something as simple as reading a transformative book, or as significant as starting a new project or breaking a bad habit, start now. Each day you delay is a day not lived to its fullest. Remember, the strength of a person is not determined by their talent, intelligence, or luck, but by their commitment to themselves. Today, make a pact to never again disrespect your own word, to never treat your commitments lightly, and to never see yourself as unimportant. Life does not send rescues. No one will come to take you by the hand and lead you to your desired destination. Stoicism clearly teaches that you are solely responsible for the direction of your own existence. Waiting for someone to guide you for the perfect moment or for an external solution is simply a waste of time. Marcus Aurelius emphasized that the only things within your power, your actions and decisions, are what truly matter. He cautioned against fretting over the injustice of others, luck or the past, all of which are beyond your control. Many people live as if they are mere passengers in their own lives, passively waiting for fate to be kind or for someone else to solve their problems. This passive approach is a trap. Each day spent waiting is a day not truly lived. Life rewards action, not hesitation. While some may freeze in the face of uncertainty, others move forward despite not having all the answers. The latter group reaches further, proving that true strength lies in decisiveness, not in complete certainty. To lead your own life effectively, you must stop outsourcing your decisions to others and relying on their opinion. Abandon the naive notion that someone else will resolve your challenges. The world does not cater to our grievances or change just because we feel wronged. Reality marches on regardless of our involvement. Consider a ship adrift at sea, aimlessly pushed by the waves, an apt metaphor for someone who does not take charge of their life. Now contrast this with a seasoned navigator who, despite not controlling the storm, skillfully steers their ship, adjusting sails and tackling the waves head-on. This is the essence of leading your own life. Assuming this responsibility might seem burdensome, but in truth, it is liberating. Understanding that no one else can make your decisions or fight your battles frees you from the need to please others and from the fear of making mistakes. Stoicism teaches us to be emotionally self-sufficient, making choices based on personal integrity rather than the need for external approval. What distinguishes a fulfilling life from an empty one is the ability to make conscious choices, deciding what to tolerate, what thoughts to nurture, and what boundaries to set. If you do not actively make these choices, others will make them for you, often leading to a life that feels out of control and unfulfilling. Leading your life requires a daily commitment to this mindset, continually reminding yourself that you hold the ultimate responsibility for your path. While you may seek advice and learn from others, ultimately, the decisions are yours to make. If you don't take ownership of your life, be assured someone else will. Time waits for no one. Every morning, a new day dawns, ripe with choices and paths to be taken. Yet, many fail to realize that if they don't define their priorities, the world will. Living reactively, people often find themselves swayed by external demands and distractions, pulled in directions they never consciously chose, becoming mere pawns on another's chessboard. The reality is stark. Many believe they control their destiny, yet their days are cluttered with unchosen obligations and urgent but unimportant tasks. This scenario unfolds not by chance, but by failing to set personal priorities. Whether it's a demanding job, societal expectations, or mere procrastination, these forces conspire to waste our time on trivialities. Marcus Aurelius, a Stoic luminary, understood that life's brevity meant each moment had to be used wisely. He knew that focus determines reality. Without direction, we drift aimlessly, like a leaf in the wind. His discipline in choosing priorities was not just about productivity, but a matter of honor, preserving the precious commodity of time. Historically, the great achievers weren't those who busied themselves with everything, but those who focused on what truly mattered. They eliminated the irrelevant, zeroing in on their true objectives. Today, however, many live on autopilot, inundated by a deluge of notifications and distractions, making it a near Herculean task to maintain focus. The danger is in the realization coming too late. Years pass, filled with regret for not taking control sooner, for spending more time solving others' problems than pursuing personal dreams. Stoicism teaches us to live each day as if it were our last, valuing the present and ensuring our actions are meaningful. Setting priorities is challenging. It requires effort to swim against the current of conformity, to make decisions that carve a distinct path rather than follow the crowd. True clarity about what matters simplifies choices. It leads to rejecting unnecessary engagements and focusing on actions that build toward real goals. Discovering what deserves priority starts with honest reflection, considering what changes would genuinely enhance your life. It means being ruthless in cutting out the superfluous and focusing on what's truly essential. By consciously setting your priorities, you're choosing to say no to distractions and yes to your life. Each day is a blank slate. If you don't decide how to fill it, others will. The Stoics knew that wisdom lies in controlling what we can, our time and our actions. They implored us to choose intentionally before circumstances choose for us. Every day, many people find themselves merely reacting to their surroundings, buffeted by the whims of external forces. Whether it's a rude remark that stirs anger, a traffic jam that breeds impatience, or bad news that saps spirits, reactions often seem automatic and out of control. But living this way means never truly holding the reins of your own life. The Stoics, including Marcus Aurelius, understood this deeply. They believed that to live a fulfilling life, one must not avoid challenges, since difficulties are inevitable, but should learn not to be governed by knee-jerk reactions. Marcus Aurelius, ruling over a vast empire, could not afford the luxury of reactive leadership. His strength came from a deliberate approach to action, a profound understanding that he must choose responses based on wisdom, not whim. The contrast between those who lead their lives and those who merely react is stark. Reactors are constantly at the mercy of external conditions, scrambling to address issues after they arise, often feeling victimized by their circumstances. However, true leaders shape their own paths. They anticipate challenges and set a proactive course for their lives. If you've ever felt upset by unexpected events or minor irritations, it's likely because reactive living grants these externalities power over your inner peace. Remember, the world is inherently imperfect, filled with challenges and provocations. The key is to change not the world around you, but how you respond to it. Consider a storm. Many panic, driven by fear into futile actions, while the steady, those who lead, assess the situation and make calculated decisions. They face the storm not with fear, but with strategy and resolve. Leading your life means crafting a plan, setting your direction based on enduring values rather than fleeting emotions. Those on autopilot, who react without thought, are often manipulated by the agendas of others, through media, societal pressure, or even social net. Choosing to lead rather than react means declaring that your life will not be dictated by external forces. It involves strategic decision-making, a refusal to let frustrations dictate your reactions. History's great leaders and thinkers weren't impulsive. They maintained their composure and clarity even amidst chaos. Now, ask yourself, are you living by your principles, or are you reacting to the world around you? Are you making conscious choices, or are you merely trying to keep up with life's demands? True change starts when you realize that not every provocation requires a response, and not every challenge must deplete your energy. If you find yourself constantly putting out fires, consider whether you're letting external factors steer your life's direction. Stoicism teaches us that we control only our actions and responses, nothing more. This means you have the power to choose calm over agitation, solutions over despair, and progress over stagnation. Time is relentless. It doesn't pause or look back. While it passes, those who lead with intention carve out meaningful existences, moving steadily toward their goals. In contrast, those who react drift along, often looking back with regret at time misspent. Not all battles in life are fought against external forces. Often, they are within the circles we choose, among people we share our days with. Unfortunately, not everyone in our lives serves to strengthen, support, or inspire us. Some may subtly drain our energy, diminish our motivation, and undermine our confidence, pulling us back rather than propelling us forward. Stoicism teaches us to protect our minds from factors beyond our control, including the negative influences of those around us. Seneca, a Stoic philosopher, cautioned about the company we keep, noting that the wrong associates can corrupt even the strongest spirits. Reflect on this. If someone consistently devalues your achievements, ridicules your dreams, or undermines your self-esteem, why allow them space in your life? The time spent with such individuals is time stolen from your personal development, a high price to pay for relationships that offer nothing positive. Often, the fear of loneliness drives people to cling to toxic relationships or unfulfilling friendships. However, consider what is worse: being alone temporarily while you strengthen your resolve, or continuously being surrounded by those who sap your energy and stunt your growth. Loneliness, when embraced, can be a powerful phase of empowerment, while the wrong company can act as a silent prison, trapping you in mediocrity. Remember, protecting your energy is not an act of selfishness, it's a necessary form of self-preservation. You cannot support everyone, and you should not have to convince anyone of your worth. Your personal growth does not require anyone's approval. True supporters will encourage your development without conditions. Marcus Aurelius, faced with envy and manipulation, never allowed external criticisms to sway him from his path. He remained focused on what was truly important: his values, his duties, and his personal growth. Like him, you must assess the influence of those around you. Do they help you grow, or do they hold you back? Are they sources of inspiration or sources of doubt? If the influence is negative, consider distancing yourself. This doesn't mean you must end relationships abruptly or create conflict. Instead, realign your priorities quietly. Spend your time with those who enrich your life and engage in activities that contribute to your growth. Be vigilant about protecting your energy as diligently as you guard your time and your thoughts. If someone consistently undermines your confidence or questions your efforts, it's time to evaluate their role in your life. True progress requires letting go of burdens that aren't yours to carry. Choose the company you keep with care. They have a significant impact on your life's trajectory. The most decisive battles are not waged on a physical battlefield, but within the confines of your own mind. Your thoughts directly influence how you feel, act, and perceive your potential. A mind plagued by insecurity, doubt, and self-sabotage predestines you for defeat before you even engage with the world. The Stoics, particularly Epictetus, taught that we are not disturbed by events themselves, but by the views we adopt about them. It's not the obstacles that define us, it's how we interpret them. Consider the process of a blacksmith forging a blade. The metal isn't born sharp, it is heated, hammered, and honed with precision. Similarly, your mind requires regular conditioning to remain sharp. Neglected, it can become as ineffective as a rusty blade, unfit for the battles of life. Those who train their bodies yet neglect their minds might appear strong, but they often falter under pressure due to internal fragility, manifesting as fear of failure, paralysis under stress, or chronic self-doubt. Your reality is sculpted by the thoughts you nurture. A mindset steeped in defeatism leads to a life lived in the shadows of failure. Conversely, a mind trained for resilience, strategy, and optimism can withstand the greatest of life's challenges. The good news is that the power to reshape your mind is entirely in your hands. Thoughts, like muscles, strengthen with consistent exercise. Focus on fostering mental patterns that empower and support your aspirations. A well-trained mind can manage doubt and fear without being overwhelmed by them. It possesses the clarity to use every experience as a stepping stone toward growth. The Stoics believed that while the world could strip you of material possessions and external stability, your thoughts remain inviolably yours. Therefore, the real question is whether you are actively fortifying your mental fortitude or allowing it to degrade in an autopilot existence. Many accept limiting beliefs without scrutiny. I'm not good enough, I always fail, or this won't work for me. These negative scripts often stem not from factual assessments, but from past hurts and the projected opinions of others. A robust mind challenges these narratives, evaluating and rejecting them if they don't align with reality. Consider what your mind has been absorbing. Are your thoughts reinforcing your strengths, or are they eroding your confidence? Remember, the true battlefield lies within, and victory is determined not by external circumstances, but by internal resilience. Take charge of your cognitive processes. Don't let your mind become your adversary. Instead, cultivate it as your ally, one that propels you toward your goals with precision and positivity. The outcomes you experience in life are reflections of the thoughts you choose to entertain and believe. Solitude is often misunderstood. Far from being a sign of weakness, it is a profound source of strength. In our noise-filled world, we are taught to view being alone as a problem, a symbol of failure or abandonment. Yet history's greatest minds, from Stoic philosophers to visionary leaders, have recognized solitude as a vital opportunity for growth and self-discovery. The Stoics, in particular, valued solitude not as a curse, but as a precious gift. Marcus Aurelius, surrounded by the demands of his empire, cherished his moments alone for reflection. Epictetus, from his humble beginnings as a slave to becoming a revered philosopher, emphasized the importance of finding peace within oneself rather than seeking it through others. Seneca, through his letters, spoke of how true loneliness isn't about the absence of others, but the inability to be comfortable in one's own company. When you learn to be alone without feeling lonely, you unlock a transformative power. Solitude becomes not just a momentary retreat, but a space to engage deeply with your own thoughts, to reflect on your actions, and to plan your future. It is here in the quiet that you can truly listen to your own voice and forge a formidable inner strength that external circumstances cannot shake. Many avoid solitude, fearing the discomfort it may bring, filling their lives with endless distractions, social media, entertainment, and superficial interactions to escape facing themselves. But avoidance keeps you weak. It leaves you unprepared for life's inevitable challenges. Being alone should not be equated with being lost. On the contrary, it offers a unique chance to find yourself, to understand your desires, and to cultivate resilience. Consider this: the most intense growth often occurs not in the presence of others, but in the solitude of one's mind. Like warriors who train away from the battlefield, individuals who embrace solitude use it to sharpen their minds and fortify their spirits. They emerge not only ready to face the world, but also to shape it according to their vision. The challenge, then, is not to avoid solitude, but to embrace it. To see it as a vital phase of self-development, where you can establish a foundation of self-sufficiency. This doesn't mean cutting off relationships or eschewing social interactions, but rather ensuring that your relationship with yourself is the core from which strength radiates. In the silence of being alone, ask yourself, are you comfortable with who you are? Are you ready to use this time not as a punishment, but as a profound period of personal growth? Those who master solitude master themselves and become truly unshakable, no matter what life throws their way. Respect is not something you can buy, demand, or plead for. It must be earned. But crucially, it can only be genuinely received from those who respect themselves. Expecting respect from someone who lives in neglect of their own worth is an exercise in futility. The Stoics taught us to focus on what we can control and to disregard the rest. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, emphasized acting with justice, integrity, and wisdom, irrespective of how others treat us. highlighting that those who do not respect themselves are often unable to genuinely respect others. Reflect on the times you felt disappointment from not receiving the acknowledgement you deserve. Consider the energy and time spent seeking approval from those who do not even value themselves. Such efforts are doomed from the start. Respect mirrors the appreciation visible within one's self. It cannot be forced from those who have none for themselves. Many try to win over individuals who undervalue everything. They fail to understand, however, that you may appear as a threat rather than a figure deserving respect to someone entrenched in mediocrity and self-pity. Those lacking principles might feel threatened by your discipline and integrity, responding not with respect, but with minimization or ridicule. The Stoic way teaches us to pick our battles wisely. It is ineffective and exhausting to seek respect from those incapable of giving it. Your role is not to educate everyone on the virtues of principled living, but to embody those virtues yourself without seeking external validation. When you cease to seek respect from those who cannot offer it, you empower yourself. You realize that the only respect that truly matters is the respect you hold for yourself. This internal respect fosters true strength and independence. The Stoics lived this truth. They did not court external approval but found satisfaction in living righteously according to their own moral standards. This realization liberates you. No longer will you expend energy trying to change perceptions that are immovable. Instead, you will live freely, guided by your values and principles, not swayed by the need for external affirmation. True respect starts from within and radiates outward. When you respect yourself and live unapologetically according to your principles, you become truly unshakable. Ask yourself, are you living for the recognition of others, or are you living a life true to your values? Remember, the respect that counts the most is the respect you earn from yourself. Do not waste time on those who have not learned to see their own value. Continue to be steadfast, integral, and forward-moving. True confidence doesn't happen by accident, nor does it suddenly manifest when you need it most. It is meticulously crafted during unseen moments through silent preparation, unnoticed decisions, and seemingly insignificant daily habits that ultimately shape who you are. Many mistakenly believe that confidence springs forth from external recognition, opportunities, or overcoming challenges. However, real confidence stems from actions taken when no one is watching. A warrior's strength isn't proven on the battlefield alone, nor does a speaker's eloquence emerge solely before an audience. Just as a wise person's wisdom isn't confined to moments of decision, all these traits are the results of what has been diligently built in private. The Stoics, including Marcus Aurelius and Epictetus, emphasize that strength is cultivated through routine and discipline, not spontaneous acts of heroism. They knew that the foundation of a resilient life is laid away from the public eye. If you aspire to be formidable when the world challenges you, your discipline must be consistent during moments of solitude. The way you perform when everyone is watching is a direct reflection of what you've practiced in privacy. If your daily life is riddled with procrastination and half-hearted commitments, you'll find yourself unprepared for critical moments. Conversely, if you establish robust habits, train your mind for resilience, and maintain unwavering discipline, you'll be equipped to handle any adversity. Self-confidence doesn't arise from superficial praise or accolades. It is born from the deep-seated knowledge that you are well prepared. It is knowing that you've addressed and conquered your weaknesses long before they ever have a chance to be exposed publicly. Your self-assurance is built on the countless times you've chosen to act with integrity rather than take the easy way out, reinforcing to yourself that you are capable and ready. The challenge many face is desiring the fruits of confidence without investing in the roots of preparation. They wish to feel powerful without engaging in the hard work that true strength requires. Life, however, doesn't reward the unprepared. The Stoics were clear. Consistent preparation is the key to enduring any of life's trials. By practicing self-discipline daily and pushing your limits in private, you ensure you are ready for whatever comes your way. Ask yourself, What are you doing when no one's looking? How are you shaping your mind, your character, your resilience? Are you actively preparing or merely hoping that confidence will find you unbidden? Remember, the most critical work happens offstage. In the quiet moments of preparation, you forge the steel of your spirit, ready to shine when the spotlight finds you. True confidence is not about boasting or believing blindly that things will work out. It's about knowing with quiet certainty that you are prepared for anything life throws at you. It's the peace that comes from having done the work, even when no one else was watching. Motivation is transient, often seen as essential for success but truly unreliable when it matters most. It provides an initial spark, yet fades quickly, leaving you stranded on challenging days. This is why relying solely on motivation can be detrimental to achieving long-term goals. The Stoics, understanding the deceptive nature of motivation, relied instead on discipline, commitment, and the cultivation of steadfast habits. Epictetus emphasized the daily practice of virtues, not just when convenient. Marcus Aurelius, even in his role as emperor, acted not out of motivation but from a sense of duty, knowing well that waiting for motivation is a trap. Success isn't a result of fleeting emotions, but the product of habits practiced consistently, regardless of one's emotional state. Consider a warrior preparing for battle, who doesn't train only when motivated. They train relentlessly to ensure readiness, regardless of their mood. Life demands the same discipline, regular action, irrespective of desire. Building something substantial, be it a personal goal or a professional project, requires consistency that outlasts momentary motivation. Habit formation is crucial, as it underpins any significant achievement. Actions should stem from a commitment to these habits, not the whims of feeling inspired. Many fail because they are conditioned to act only when they feel right, a notion that undermines the very essence of discipline. The Stoic philosophy teaches that self-control and habitual action are paramount and far superior to being driven by fleeting emotions. Motivation may waver like a flickering flame, but a well-established habit burns steadily, providing continuous momentum. Reflect on whether your actions are motivated by fleeting emotions or grounded in robust habits. The path to success is paved with consistent, disciplined actions that become second nature, reinforcing your progress regardless of external conditions. We all experience those moments when negative thoughts start creeping in, planting seeds of doubt and insecurity in our minds. The nagging voice that questions our abilities, worth, and decisions can be incredibly disruptive, impacting all aspects of our lives. If left unchecked, these mental patterns can spiral into anxiety, lack of motivation, and even depression. I know this struggle all too well. There were times when I felt consumed by negative self-talk and crippling self-doubt. It was a constant battle to silence the inner critic and regain my confidence. But then, I discovered the profound teachings of Stoicism. This ancient Greek philosophy provided me with powerful strategies to overcome these challenges. As Marcus Aurelius, the famous Stoic philosopher and Roman emperor, wisely stated, "The universe is change. Our life is what our thoughts make it." This realization was transformative for me. I began to understand that my negative thoughts were not facts, but mere interpretations, and that I had the power to change them. So, what is the purpose of our journey today? It is to share the timeless Stoic principles that will help you deal effectively with negative thoughts and self-doubt. By the end of this exploration, you will be equipped with practical tools and insights to confront these inner battles head-on, reclaiming your inner peace and confidence. But this is not a passive experience. Stay engaged, reflect on these lessons, and actively apply them daily. True transformation occurs through knowledge, consistent action, and practice. With that, let us begin our exploration of the Stoic way of overcoming negative thoughts and self-doubt, guided by the wise words of Marcus Aurelius. The universe is change. Our life is what our thoughts make it. Understanding negative thoughts and self-doubt, we must first understand their nature and impact to effectively deal with negative thoughts and self-doubt. As Epictetus, one of the most influential Stoic philosophers, wisely stated, "It is not the things themselves that disturb people, but their judgments about these things." Negative thoughts are not inherently bad or wrong. Our minds create interpretations based on our experiences, beliefs, and conditioning. However, when left unchecked, these thoughts can spiral, distorting our perception of reality and undermining our sense of self-worth. For instance, consider a situation where you made a mistake at work. A negative thought might arise, such as, "I'm so incompetent, I'll never succeed in this job." This thought, however, is not a fact, but a judgment colored by self-doubt and harsh self-criticism. The impact of such negative self-talk can be far-reaching. It can affect our motivation, decision-making, and overall well-being. As Marcus Aurelius said, the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. Persistent negative thoughts can drain our energy, cloud our judgment, and even influence our physical health. Now, let's engage in a brief exercise. Take a moment to reflect on a recent negative thought or moment of self-doubt that you experienced. Please write it down or make a mental note of it. We will revisit this later in our exploration. Understanding the nature and potential consequences of negative thoughts enables us to approach them more objectively. We can recognize them as mere interpretations, not absolute truths, and work towards reframing them more constructively. Remember, as Epictetus taught, it is not the things themselves that disturb people, but their judgments about these things. With this awareness, we can break free from negative thoughts and self-doubt, paving the way for a more empowered and fulfilling life. Changing your perspective. One of the core principles of Stoicism is the idea that our thoughts shape our reality. Epictetus wisely stated, "Men are disturbed not by things, but by the view which they take of them." This profound insight holds the key to overcoming negative thoughts and self-doubt. By changing our perspective, we can transform our experience. Let's revisit the example from the previous chapter, where you made a mistake at work and a negative thought arose, labeling you as incompetent and doubting your ability to succeed. This thought is not a fact, but a subjective interpretation colored by self-doubt and harsh self-criticism. The Stoics would encourage us to reframe this thought by adopting a more objective and rational perspective. Instead of criticizing ourselves, we could view the mistake as a learning opportunity to identify areas for improvement and growth. We could remind ourselves that mistakes are an inevitable part of the human experience, and that even the most accomplished individuals have faced setbacks and failures throughout their journeys. By reframing our perspective, we can transform a negative thought into a constructive one, shifting our mindset from self-doubt to self-compassion and resilience. But the Stoics didn't just preach theoretical ideas. They offered practical wisdom rooted in real-life examples. One such example comes from the life of Seneca, the famous Stoic philosopher and advisor to the Roman Emperor Nero. In one of his letters, Seneca recounts a story of a friend deeply troubled by a nightmarish vision he had experienced. Seneca advised his friend to focus on reality rather than being consumed by his imagination, saying, "We are more often frightened than hurt, and we suffer more from imagination than from reality." Like Seneca's friend, we often allow our negative thoughts and fears to spiral out of control, creating imagined scenarios that cause unnecessary suffering. By grounding ourselves in reality and adopting a more objective perspective, we can break free from the grip of these distorted thoughts. Here's a practical step-by-step guide to help you reframe a negative thought. Identify the negative thought or self-doubt. Write it down or make a mental note. Examine the evidence. Is this thought based on facts or assumptions? Are there alternative perspectives you still need to consider? Challenge the thought. Ask yourself, is this thought helping me or hurting me? Or, would I say this to a loved one in a similar situation? Reframe the thought. Replace the negative thought with a more constructive, rational interpretation that aligns with your values and goals. Repeat the reframed thought. Reinforce the new perspective by repeating it to yourself or writing it down. As Marcus Aurelius reminded us, if you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. And this you have the power to revoke at any moment. By actively practicing reframing our perspective, we can gradually rewire our thought patterns, cultivating a more resilient and empowered mindset. It takes consistent effort, but the rewards are immense. A greater sense of inner peace, self-confidence, and ability to navigate life's challenges with wisdom and grace. Focus on what you can control. One of the core tenets of Stoic philosophy is the principle of focusing our energy and attention on what we can control, rather than wasting time and energy agonizing over things beyond our influence. Epictetus famously stated, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This principle is compelling when dealing with negative thoughts and self-doubt. While we cannot always control the initial thoughts that arise, we can control how we respond to them. Do we allow them to spiral, fueling our self-doubt and anxiety, or do we consciously shift our focus to what is within our control? Let's consider a practical example. Imagine you've been passed over for a promotion at work, and feelings of self-doubt and negative thoughts begin to surface. I'm not good enough. I'll never advance in this company. I'm a failure. While it's understandable to feel disappointed, dwelling on these negative thoughts and ruminating over the situation will only breed more negativity and disempowerment. Instead, the Stoic approach would focus on what you can control: your reaction, your mindset, and your next steps. You might reframe the situation by acknowledging that while the outcome was not what you hoped for, it does not define your worth or capability. You can respond with resilience, using the experience as motivation to identify areas for growth and development. Additionally, you can focus on what is within your control, such as updating your skills, seeking feedback from mentors, or exploring new opportunities within or outside the company. This principle is exemplified in Epictetus' life. Born into slavery, he faced numerous challenges and adversities beyond his control. However, he focused his energy on what was within his power: his mindset, actions, and response to circumstances. In one of his famous teachings, Epictetus emphasized, "Make the best use of what is in your power, and take the rest as it happens." By embracing this wisdom, we can avoid becoming consumed by negative thoughts and self-doubt from situations we cannot control. Instead, we can focus on our sphere of influence, taking constructive action and maintaining a positive, empowered mindset. To put this principle into practice, I invite you to pause and reflect on a current worry or concern causing you distress. Identify the aspects of the situation within your control and separate them from the factors beyond your influence. By consciously shifting your focus to what you can control, you'll find it easier to let go of negative thoughts and self-doubt surrounding the uncontrollable elements. This simple yet profound practice can cultivate inner peace, resilience, and empowerment in facing life's challenges. As Epictetus taught, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. By embracing this Stoic wisdom, you can reclaim your power and navigate life's ups and downs with grace and composure. Building resilience through Stoic practices. Thus far, we've discussed powerful Stoic principles for reframing negative thoughts, focusing on what's within our control, and cultivating an empowered mindset. However, the Stoics understood that lasting inner transformation requires more than intellectual understanding. It demands consistent practice and the cultivation of specific mental habits. One such practice is the Stoic concept of negative visualization, which may seem counterintuitive at first glance. As Epictetus wisely stated, "No great thing is created suddenly, any more than a bunch of grapes or a fig. If you tell me that you desire a fig, I answer you that there must be time." Negative visualization involves contemplating potential adverse scenarios or misfortunes that could befall us. It may sound like a recipe for pessimism, but the Stoics saw it as a tool to cultivate gratitude, resilience, and a deeper appreciation for the present moment. By mentally preparing for challenges and setbacks, we become less shocked and overwhelmed when they inevitably occur. Additionally, it helps us cherish the good things rather than take them for granted. Let's engage in a brief exercise to experience the power of this practice. Close your eyes and imagine losing something truly valuable to you, a possession, a relationship, or even your health. Allow yourself to feel the weight of that potential loss. fully notice how this exercise can heighten your gratitude for what you currently have and instill a sense of humble appreciation for the temporary nature of all things. The Stoics understood that by regularly practicing negative visualization, we could develop a kind of emotional immunity, a resilience that allows us to weather life's storms with poise and grace. Marcus Aurelius, the mighty Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, embodied this principle. Despite facing numerous personal losses and challenges, including the untimely deaths of several children and a devastating plague that ravaged his empire, Marcus Aurelius maintained his composure. He continued to govern with wisdom and compassion. He wrote in his famous Meditations, "How ridiculous and unrealistic is the man who is astonished at anything that happens in life." By embracing the Stoic practice of negative visualization, Marcus Aurelius cultivated a profound sense of resilience and acceptance, allowing him to navigate even the most harrowing circumstances with grace and poise. As we continue our journey toward overcoming negative thoughts and self-doubt, practices like negative visualization can serve as powerful tools to fortify our mental and emotional resilience. By regularly reminding ourselves of the impermanence of all things and mentally preparing for potential adversity, we can cultivate a sense of humble gratitude and develop the inner strength to face life's challenges with courage and wisdom. Remember, as Epictetus taught, no great thing is created suddenly. Building resilience is a gradual process that requires consistent practice and dedication, but by embracing Stoic practices we can steadily cultivate the inner resources to overcome negative thoughts, self-doubt, and any obstacles that may arise. Surrounding yourself with positivity, while the Stoic teachings emphasize cultivating inner resilience and self-mastery, the ancient philosophers recognized the profound impact our social environment has on our mental and emotional well-being. As Epictetus wisely advised, the key is to keep company only with people who uplift you, whose presence calls forth your best. The people we surround ourselves with can either fuel our negative thought patterns and self-doubt, or inspire us to rise above them. Their words, attitudes, and energy can drag us down or elevate us to new heights of confidence and self-assurance. Think about the individuals in your life who consistently radiate positivity, encouragement, and belief in your potential. Perhaps it's a close friend, a mentor, or a family member who has consistently supported and uplifted you, even during your darkest moments of self-doubt. Now, contrast that with the people in your life who seem to perpetuate your negative thought patterns. They might be quick to criticize, doubt your abilities, or project their insecurities onto you. The Stoics understood that limiting exposure to negative influences and intentionally cultivating uplifting relationships could profoundly impact our mental and emotional state. Consider the example of Monkey D. Luffy from the anime One Piece. Luffy's journey to becoming the Pirate King is significantly influenced by the positive and supportive friends he surrounds himself with. Early in his quest, Luffy gathers a diverse crew of individuals who believe in his dream and support him through every challenge and setback. Characters like Zoro, Nami, Sanji, and Chopper contribute their strengths and unwavering belief in Luffy, encouraging him to persevere despite overwhelming odds. Their support and friendship help Luffy stay resilient and inspire each other to grow and reach their potential. By intentionally curating his crew, Luffy creates an environment that nurtures confidence, resilience, and determination, ultimately propelling him toward his dream of finding the One Piece and becoming the Pirate King. On the other hand, imagine the path of someone who remains entrenched in a toxic social environment. Constantly surrounded by negativity, criticism, and doubt, it becomes increasingly challenging for them to break free from negative thoughts and self-doubt when those patterns are continuously reinforced by their social influences. So, how can we apply this Stoic wisdom to our own lives? Here are some practical tips. Evaluate your current social circle. Identify the individuals who uplift and encourage you, as well as those who perpetuate negative thought patterns. Gradually limit exposure to toxic influences while nurturing and prioritizing relationships with positive, supportive people. Seek out communities, groups, or mentors aligned with your values and goals, as they can provide a powerful source of inspiration and motivation. Be mindful of the energy you bring to your relationships. Strive to positively influence others, just as you seek positivity from them. Remember, as Epictetus taught, the key is to keep company only with people who uplift you, whose presence calls forth your best. By intentionally surrounding ourselves with positive influences, we create an environment conducive to overcoming negative thoughts and self-doubt and embracing our full potential. It's a journey that requires conscious effort and discernment, but the rewards are invaluable. A greater sense of confidence, resilience, and the ability to navigate life's challenges with the support and encouragement of those who believe in us. Gratitude and contentment. At the core of Stoic philosophy lies a profound understanding of the power of gratitude and contentment. These principles serve as potent antidotes to the negative thought patterns and self-doubt that can quickly consume us in our modern, fast-paced lives. As Marcus Aurelius eloquently stated, "Do not indulge in dreams of having what you have not, but reckon up the chief of the blessings you do possess, and then thankfully remember how you would crave for them if they were not yours." These words encapsulate the essence of gratitude, the practice of actively appreciating and savoring the blessings we already possess, rather than constantly yearning for more. By cultivating gratitude, we shift our focus away from perceived deficiencies and scarcity and instead embrace the abundance surrounding us. Imagine the weight lifted from your shoulders if you genuinely appreciate and feel grateful for all the positive aspects of your life, rather than fixating on what you lack or wish you had. The Stoics understood that this shift in perspective could profoundly impact our mental and emotional well-being. Seneca, another prominent Stoic philosopher, echoed this sentiment when he wrote, "It is in no man's power to have whatever he wants, but he has it in his power not to wish for what he hasn't got, and cheerfully make the most of the things that do come his way." These words remind us that true contentment does not come from constantly acquiring more, but from cultivating a sense of sufficiency and appreciating what we already have. By embracing this mindset, we can break free from the endless desire and dissatisfaction that fuel so much of our negative self-talk and self-doubt. To put this into practice, let's engage in a brief gratitude exercise. Close your eyes and take a few deep breaths. Now, consider 3 aspects of your life that you are truly grateful for. Perhaps your health, a loving relationship, or a cherished memory. Allow yourself to fully savor and appreciate these blessings, feeling the warmth of gratitude spread through your being. As you open your eyes, notice the subtle shift in your perspective. Do you feel lighter, more present, and less burdened by negative thoughts or self-doubt? This is the transformative power of gratitude and contentment. Acceptance and letting go. Epictetus wisely advised, "Don't demand that things happen as you wish, but wish that they happen as they do happen, and you will go on well." These words highlight a profound truth. Much of our suffering and negative thought patterns stem from our resistance to how things are and our attachment to how we believe they should be. By accepting reality as it unfolds, without judgment or resistance, we can cultivate a sense of inner peace and freedom from negative thoughts and self-doubt. Consider the example of a student who has worked tirelessly to prepare for a critical exam, only to receive a disappointing result. Suppose they cling to the expectation of a different outcome. In that case, they will likely spiral into a cycle of negative self-talk, doubt, and rumination. However, if they embrace the Stoic principle of acceptance, they can acknowledge the reality of the situation without judgment or self-criticism. They can redirect their energy toward constructive next steps rather than dwelling on what cannot be changed. This principle was embodied by Marcus Aurelius, who faced numerous challenges and adversities during his reign as Roman emperor. In his famous Meditations, he wrote, "How ridiculous and strange to be surprised at anything which happens in life." These words reflect a deep understanding of the impermanence and unpredictability of life. a recognition that resistance and clinging to expectations only breed suffering. By accepting the ebb and flow of circumstances with equanimity, Marcus Aurelius navigated even the most tumultuous times with grace and wisdom. The Stoics understood that true freedom lies in letting go of our resistance and accepting what is, rather than constantly battling against reality. As Marcus Aurelius wisely stated, "Nothing happens to anybody which he is not fitted by nature to bear." Consider a situation you have resisted or struggled to accept. To put this principle into practice, take a few deep breaths and consciously let go of your resistance, embracing the reality of the situation without judgment or self-criticism. Notice how this simple acceptance can alleviate the burden of negative thoughts and self-doubt. By releasing the need to control or change the uncontrollable, you create space for inner peace, clarity, and the ability to respond with wisdom and equanimity. By embracing the Stoic practices of acceptance and letting go, we can cultivate the inner freedom to navigate life's challenges with resilience, grace, and a profound sense of inner peace. Self-reflection and growth. While the Stoic teachings provide potent tools for dealing with negative thoughts and self-doubt in the present moment, these ancient philosophers understood that lasting transformation requires a more profound commitment to self-reflection and personal growth. As Epictetus wisely advised, when you are offended at any man's fault, turn to yourself and study your failings. He will grow better for being reproved, and you better yourself by this wholesome exercise. These words highlight the profound value of self-reflection, the practice of turning our gaze inward, examining our thoughts, beliefs, and actions with honesty and courage. Through this process, we can identify areas for growth, confront our blind spots, and cultivate the self-awareness necessary for lasting personal development. Imagine for a moment a scenario where you made a mistake or experienced a setback that triggered a wave of negative self-talk and self-doubt. Instead of wallowing in these thoughts or projecting blame onto external factors, the Stoic approach would be to engage in radical self-reflection. Ask yourself probing questions. What role did my own actions or assumptions play in this outcome? What lessons can I learn from this experience? How can I approach similar situations with greater wisdom and resilience in the future? By adopting this mindset of self-reflection and growth, we shift our perspective from self-criticism and stagnation to empowerment and continuous improvement. The Stoics understood that personal growth is not a linear journey, but a cyclical process of self-reflection, learning, and implementation. It requires a willingness to confront our shortcomings and embrace challenges as opportunities for growth, rather than sources of self-doubt and negativity. One powerful example of this principle in action is the life story of Epictetus himself. Born into slavery and subjected to numerous hardships, Epictetus could have easily succumbed to bitterness, resentment, and self-pity. However, he chose a path of radical self-reflection and personal growth. Through his unwavering commitment to examining his thoughts, beliefs, and actions, Epictetus developed a profound understanding of the human condition and the path to inner freedom. His teachings have resonated for centuries and serve as a testament to the transformative power of self-reflection and growth. To cultivate this practice in your life, start by setting aside dedicated time for self-reflection. Whether through journaling, meditation, or simply creating space for quiet contemplation. During these moments, ask yourself probing questions about your thoughts, beliefs, and actions, and approach your self-inquiry with curiosity and compassion. When you inevitably encounter moments of failure, setbacks, or negative self-talk, use them as opportunities for growth. Resist the urge to indulge in self-criticism or blame. Instead, turn your attention inward. Explore the lessons to be learned, the blind spots to be illuminated, and the steps to approach similar situations with greater wisdom and resilience. Remember, as Epictetus taught, seek not the good in external things, seek it in yourselves. By committing to the Stoic practice of self-reflection and growth, you unlock the key to overcoming negative thoughts and self-doubt from the inside out. It is a journey that requires courage, honesty, and a willingness to confront your limitations with humility, but the rewards are immeasurable. A more profound sense of self-awareness, resilience, and the ability to navigate life's challenges with wisdom and grace. Stoic quotes about negative thoughts and self-doubt. The ancient Stoic philosophers left us a treasure trove of wisdom for dealing with negative thoughts and self-doubt. Let's explore some of their most powerful insights. The universe is change. Our life is what our thoughts make it. Marcus Aurelius. Our thoughts shape our reality. By changing our thoughts, we can change our experience of life. If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment. Marcus Aurelius. Our suffering comes not from external events, but from our judgments about them, which we can change. How ridiculous and unrealistic is the man who is astonished at anything that happens in life. Marcus Aurelius. There is no need to be shocked or disturbed by life's inevitable challenges and setbacks. Acceptance is key. The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. Marcus Aurelius. Our persistent thoughts profoundly influence our state of being. Negative thoughts breed negativity. It is not the things themselves that disturb people, but their judgments about these things. Epictetus. Events themselves are neutral. Our interpretations cause us distress or inner peace. There is only one way to happiness, and that is to cease worrying about things which are beyond the power of our will. Epictetus. Happiness comes from focusing our energy on what we can control, not the uncontrollable. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Epictetus. We cannot always control circumstances, but we can control our responses to them. Men are disturbed, not by things, but by the view which they take of them. Epictetus. Our perspective, not external events, is the true source of our inner turmoil or peace. Don't demand that things happen as you wish, but wish that they happen as they do happen, and you will go on well. Epictetus. Acceptance, not resistance, is the path to tranquility. We are more often frightened than hurt, and we suffer more from imagination than from reality. Seneca. Our pessimistic forecasts often cause more suffering than reality itself. Nothing happens to anybody which he is not fitted by nature to bear. Marcus Aurelius. We have the innate resilience to withstand whatever life brings our way. Remove the judgment, and you have removed the thought, I am hurt, and the hurt itself is gone. Marcus Aurelius. It is our judgments that create our suffering, not circumstances themselves. Until we have begun to go without them, we fail to realize how unnecessary many things are. We've been using them not because we needed them, but because we had them. Seneca. These words encapsulate the essence of the Stoic approach, the recognition that true freedom and fulfillment arise not from external circumstances or possessions, but from the cultivation of our inner resources, resilience, and alignment with our deepest values. Internalizing these Stoic teachings allows us to rewire our minds, question our negative thought patterns, and cultivate a more resilient, empowered mindset. The path to overcoming self-doubt lies in changing our perspectives and reactions, not controlling the uncontrollable. Remember, the journey toward overcoming negative thoughts and self-doubt is not a destination, but a continuous practice, a lifelong commitment to personal growth, self-reflection, and the pursuit of a life well lived. Did you know that most of us spend our lives waiting for someday? We tell ourselves, someday I'll be happy, someday I'll pursue my dreams, someday I'll live the life I truly want. But what if someday was actually today? What if I told you that the secret to unlocking your best life lies in a simple shift of perspective? In today's video, we're diving deep into the transformative power of living as if, a strategy that can revolutionize how you approach your goals and dreams right here, right now. Throughout this discussion, we'll explore how changing your mindset can not only alter your immediate reality but also set the stage for long-term fulfillment. I'm thrilled to share these insights, and I genuinely believe you'll find them both empowering and practical. If you value what we're doing here, consider showing your support with a simple free favor. Hit that subscribe button. It helps us keep producing content that makes a difference. And remember, each part of this video builds on the last, so make sure you don't skip any sections. Stick with me throughout, and let's unlock some powerful strategies together. Let's make someday today. Let me share a little secret with you. There was a time when I lived my life on hold, always waiting for the right moment to make my dreams a reality. It's easy to think that someday we'll have everything perfectly aligned, and then we'll be ready to chase what truly matters. But that day, it never just arrives. We have to create it. I started to wonder, what if I lived as though I had already achieved my dreams? This shift in perspective was inspired by Stoic philosophy, which teaches us to focus on our responses to life's events rather than the events themselves. Stoics like Marcus Aurelius believed in using every moment as an opportunity to practice virtues like courage, wisdom, and self-discipline. So I asked myself, what would a successful version of me do today? Not tomorrow, not next year, but today? This approach transformed my life. Instead of waiting for opportunities, I began creating them. I acted with the confidence and intent of someone who had already succeeded, which led to opening doors I didn't even know existed. It was as if the universe began conspiring to help me succeed, because I was finally in tune with what I truly wanted and believed I could achieve it. Now, think about your own aspirations. What could you achieve if you started living as if your biggest goals were already accomplished? Imagine the sense of purpose and direction you'd feel each morning. It's not about fooling yourself, but about stepping into the shoes of your best self and moving forward with unwavering conviction. Remember, as if isn't about pretending, it's a practice in courage, a way to bridge the gap between who you are and who you want to be. And in this gap, you'll find not just the achievements you desire, but also profound growth in your character. Because when we act as if, we're not just living, we're thriving, propelled by the best version of ourselves. This is the Stoic way, living each day as if it were both your first and your last, with the vitality and vigor that comes from aligning with your deepest values and ambitions. So, let's take that step today, not tomorrow. Act as if you are already the person who has achieved everything you ever wanted. Watch how it changes, not just the things you do, but also how you feel about everything around you. This isn't just about achieving goals. It's about transforming your entire outlook on life. Let's delve into a powerful exercise that I often revisit when I feel disconnected from my goals. Visualization isn't just about dreaming. It's about creating a vivid mental blueprint of your future. Picture this. You've already reached your biggest goal. Can you see it? What are you doing? Who are you with? And most importantly, how do you feel in that moment? I remember the first time I practiced this, I was aiming to become a sought-after speaker, sharing insights on life and Stoicism. I visualized stepping onto the stage, the lights, the audience's expectant faces, and the profound silence waiting for my first words. But the true shift came when I focused deeply on the emotions I felt in that vision. Confidence, excitement, fulfilled. This wasn't just a daydream. It was an emotional rehearsal for what was to come. The Stoics were masters at using visualization not as a form of escape, but as a tool to prepare for reality. They called it premeditatio malorum, where they visualized challenges to prepare themselves mentally and emotionally for future hardships. In our context, it means using visualization to fortify ourselves against the fear of failure and to bolster our resolve to pursue our ambitions relentlessly. Every morning, I spend a few minutes in this visualization, not just seeing but feeling the reality of my achievements. This practice propels me out of bed with a vigor that no cup of coffee can match. It's about aligning my emotional and mental state with my goals, ensuring that my actions throughout the day are intentional and directed toward making that visualized future a reality. So, what vision will you hold in your mind? What emotions will you choose to feel as if your success is already a fact? Embrace this technique and weave it into your daily routine. Feel the joy, the pride, and the sheer thrill of achieving your dreams, even before they materialize. This isn't just optimism, it's a strategic rehearsal for your success. I'll let you in on a transformative moment from my own journey. There was a time when my aspirations seemed like distant, almost unreachable stars. I wanted to be recognized as a leader in my field and influential and inspiring. But here's the twist. I decided to start acting the part long before the accolades and acknowledgments came my way. I began each day asking myself, how would the leader I aspired to be handle this? Whether it was dealing with a challenging client or navigating setbacks, I stepped up. I made decisions from a place of authority and confidence, not hesitance. I dressed the part, spoke with conviction, and perhaps most importantly, I made strategic choices that a successful person in my field would make. This wasn't about putting on a mask, it was about embodying the best version of myself, one decision at a time. Now, think about your own goals. How does the person you want to become handle their day-to-day tasks? How do they interact with others? How do they manage stress and setbacks? Emulating these behaviors before they become a reality is not just play acting, it's a profound exercise in self-actualization. The Stoics emphasize the importance of living in accordance with nature, which, in our case, translates to living in a way that aligns with our true potential. Let me ask you this, what can you do right now, today, that aligns with your vision of success? Maybe it's tackling a project you've been postponing, or perhaps it's reaching out to a mentor. Each action, no matter how small, is a step toward becoming who you really want to be. And yes, there will be days when it feels like you're just going through the motions. But remember, consistency is key. Every act, every decision in line with your future self fortifies your path to becoming that person. Embracing your new role before it materializes isn't just a strategy, it's a profound transformation that begins deep within your emotional core. Let me share a chapter from my own life. When I first aimed to become a motivational speaker, every morning, before the sun even peeped through the curtains, I stood in front of my mirror, rehearsed my speeches, and soaked in the applause I imagined echoed through packed auditoriums. This wasn't about wishful thinking, it was about emotionally anchoring myself in my future reality. I still remember the butterflies, the nerves, and the raw energy I felt during those mornings. But here's the key. I didn't wait for my first actual applause to feel validated or successful. I allowed myself to feel proud, capable, and genuinely moved by my own journey and the messages I shared. This emotional resonance is crucial because it cements your belief in your potential and your path. It's what fuels you through setbacks and rejections. The Stoics often spoke about amor fati, a love of fate. They believed in embracing every aspect of life, not just the joys, but also the challenges, as necessary parts of your journey. By allowing myself to feel the emotions associated with my desired role, I was practicing amor fati. I was not just waiting for success to come and find me, I was living it in my emotions and reactions. How about you? What emotions would you feel if you achieved your greatest aspiration right now? Try to live those emotions today. Feel the joy, the gratitude, and yes, even the responsibility that comes with your dreams. When you align your emotional state with your ambitions, you're not just hoping for a future, you're living it. This practice doesn't just prepare you for your dreams, it attracts them to you. Because when you resonate with the energy of your dreams, the world can't help but respond in kind. In my own journey, the realization hit hard that dreaming big wasn't enough. It had to be paired with daily, actionable steps. This lesson became clear when I committed to writing a book on Stoicism. The project was daunting, immense like a mountain looming before me. However, breaking it down into daily, manageable tasks transformed what seemed like an insurmountable challenge into a series of small, achievable victories. Every morning I made it a point to write at least one page. Some days the words flowed freely, other days it was like squeezing water from a stone. But regardless of the struggle, this daily discipline was non-negotiable. It wasn't just about progress on my book, it was about reinforcing my identity as a writer and a scholar of Stoicism. I was living proof of Marcus Aurelius' advice: the color of your thoughts dyes your soul. By focusing on positive, proactive thoughts, I colored my soul with resilience and determination. Let's translate this approach to your goals. What's your mountain? Maybe it's starting a business, learning a new skill, or improving your health. Break it down. What can you do each day to move one step closer to your summit? It could be as simple as reading for 20 minutes, practicing a new language, or choosing a healthy meal over fast food. These actions might seem small in isolation, but cumulatively, they wield the power to transform your life. Now, I challenge you to think of 3 small actions you can take daily. Write them down. Make them as specific and time-bound as possible. For example, instead of saying, "I will work out more," say, "I will walk for 30 minutes at 7 a.m. This specificity acts as a mini contract with yourself, and fulfilling it daily builds integrity and self-trust. In the spirit of Stoicism, remember that it's not the actions themselves, but how we approach them that matters. Approach each small task with the same seriousness and dedication as you would your ultimate goal. This mindset shift is pivotal. Each small task completed is a brick in the foundation of your dreams. By committing to these daily actions, you're not just hoping for a better future, you're actively constructing it. Doubts and fears are companions on any journey worth taking. I recall the early days of my speaking career, standing backstage, heart pounding, palms sweaty, questioning if I was really cut out for this. What if I failed? What if the audience didn't resonate with what I had to say? These questions would swirl in my mind, threatening to undermine all my preparations and efforts. But then I would take a deep breath and remember a core Stoic principle. We suffer more often in imagination than in reality. Seneca, this realization was transformative. It reminded me that fear is often not rooted in the actual events that confront us, but in the shadows of our minds. Acknowledging this didn't make the fear disappear instantly, but it allowed me to see it for what it truly was, an internal obstacle, not an external truth. Facing skepticism, whether from within or from others, is a part of the process of pursuing anything that defies the status quo. To move past it, the first step is to simply acknowledge these fears without judgment. Say to yourself, "Yes, I'm scared. Yes, I have doubts." This acknowledgement is not a sign of weakness, but of profound courage. It is the first step in reclaiming your power from the clutches of fear. Next, ask yourself, what would I do if I weren't afraid? This question opens up a space for you to explore possibilities without the weight of fear. Often, it's not about eliminating fear, but about learning to move forward in spite of it. This is what the Stoics excel at. They harness their perceptions and focus on what is within their control, which is always their own actions and responses. Turn this into a practice. Each time you encounter a doubt or fear, write it down, acknowledge it. Then, write a counterstatement that reflects the action you would take if fear were not a factor. This practice not only helps in managing fears, but also builds a reservoir of courage and resilience that you can draw upon over time. When I first embarked on my journey to integrate Stoicism into my daily life, I quickly learned that the true challenge wasn't in understanding its principles, but in applying them consistently, every day, in every decision. I needed to embody patience, resilience, and wisdom, traits that are easy to admire but incredibly challenging to live out, especially when you're faced with the stresses and pressures of everyday life. I remember one particularly grueling week when everything that could go wrong did. Clients were unhappy, deadlines were missed, and my personal life felt just as chaotic. It was during these moments, these tests, that the power of consistency became crystal clear. Instead of letting despair take hold, I focused on maintaining my Stoic practices, reflecting on my reactions, focusing on what I could control, and accepting what I couldn't. This didn't solve all my problems overnight, but it helped me navigate them with a clarity and calmness that had previously eluded me. Consistency in our actions transforms what are singular acts into habits, and eventually into traits of our character. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Your consistent acts create your reality." Each day, by choosing to act in alignment with my values, no matter the circumstances, I was not only developing resilience, but also actively creating the life I envisioned. Here's what I suggest to anyone watching this. Find your practice, your anchor. That thing that you commit to doing every day, no matter how small. It could be as simple as writing down 3 things you're grateful for, meditating for 5 minutes, or reading a page of a thought-provoking book. The size of the action isn't what transforms you, it's the regularity. It's about doing it on the days you feel good and pushing through on the days when you don't. Think of it as forging your own character in the fire of daily life. Each day is an opportunity to reinforce who you are and who you want to become. This consistency is what builds the bridge between your current self and the ideal self you envision. Every single day, we're faced with moments that test our patience and rattle our calm. Whether it's a traffic jam when you're already late, a coworker's irritating habits, or your phone battery dying in the middle of an important call, life seems full of these little battles. It's not just about these minor irritations, though. It's about how we respond to them that shapes our days and, ultimately, our lives. It's important to remember that everyone feels angry sometimes. It's part of being human. But here's where Stoicism steps in with its profound wisdom. Stoicism teaches us that while we can't always control what happens to us, we can control how we respond. This is pivotal in transforming our relationship with anger. Think about it. When something goes wrong or someone frustrates us, our first instinct might be to react with anger. But what if, instead, we paused and considered this reaction? Stoicism encourages us to see these moments as opportunities to practice virtues like patience, understanding, and resilience. By acknowledging anger as a natural emotion, we set the stage for learning how to handle it more effectively. The Stoic philosophers like Epictetus and Marcus Aurelius often discuss the concept of not being swayed by external events, but instead focusing on our internal responses. They believe that our emotions, including anger, come from our judgments about events, not the events themselves. So, when we feel angry, it's often because we're placing a particular value or judgment on what's happened. This understanding opens up a powerful opportunity for us. Each time we feel anger rising, we can ask ourselves, what judgment am I making about this situation? Is there another way to view it? This is not about suppressing or denying your anger. It's about understanding it. By getting to the root of what triggers our anger, we can start to change our responses. For instance, if you get cut off in traffic and feel the anger bubbling up, recognize this as a chance to examine why you react this way. Is it really the action of the other driver, or is it your belief that your route should be obstacle-free? Moreover, acknowledging anger helps us empathize with others who might also struggle with their emotions. This empathy can deepen our connections and improve our interactions. It's about compassion, both for ourselves and for others, as we navigate the complexities of human emotions. This idea is at the heart of Stoic philosophy and is incredibly liberating once you truly grasp it. Think about it. So much of our frustration and anger stems from situations or people we simply can't change, no matter how much we might want to. The Stoics, like the wise Marcus Aurelius, taught that the real power lies in recognizing the difference between what we can control and what we can't. You control your thoughts, your decisions, and your actions. That's it. Everything else is more or less out of your hands. Other people's actions, the weather, the past, and much of the future. But here's where it gets interesting. By focusing on our own reactions and attitudes, we reclaim a tremendous amount of power. Instead of wasting energy on the uncontrollable, we invest it in what we can actually influence. Let's make it practical. Say you're working on a group project and someone isn't pulling their weight. It's easy to get frustrated, right? You might even feel your temper rising, but ask yourself, what part of this situation can I actually control? You can't make your teammate work harder, but you can control how you respond to the challenge. Maybe it's a conversation about expectations, or perhaps it's reallocating work within the group. By shifting your focus like this, you not only reduce your own stress, but also open up more constructive ways to address the problem. Another aspect of this Stoic principle is accepting that some things are just beyond our control. This acceptance doesn't mean resignation. It means understanding where our power truly lies. It's about not letting external events dictate your peace of mind. For instance, if you're stuck in traffic and getting irritated because you're going to be late, pause and think, can I control the traffic? No. But what can you control? Your reaction. Maybe you turn on an audiobook or some calming music, or use the time to think through your day. The beauty of focusing on what you can control is that it gradually builds a stronger, more resilient mindset. Over time, you'll find yourself less shaken by life's ups and downs because you know where your responsibilities lie and where they don't. This isn't about suppressing your feelings, but about channeling your energies more productively. It's about being fully present in the moment, aware of where we are and what we're doing, without being overly reactive or overwhelmed by what's going on around us. This aligns beautifully with Stoic teachings, which emphasize awareness of our thoughts and actions, and maintaining control over our reactions to external circumstances. So why practice mindfulness? Because it helps us to pause between our experiences and our reactions to them. By becoming more mindful, we can choose responses that align with our values and goals instead of getting swept away by emotions. For example, when someone says something that upsets you, instead of immediately reacting or snapping back, mindfulness allows you to take a step back. You notice your emotional surge, but choose to observe it passively, without acting on it immediately. This space that mindfulness creates is not just calming, it's empowering. It gives you the chance to choose a response that you won't regret later. Let's talk about how to incorporate mindfulness into daily life, because it sounds great in theory, but it's in the practice that the real magic happens. One simple technique is to focus on your breathing. When you find yourself feeling anxious or angry, take a moment to concentrate on deep, slow breaths. This focus pulls your mind away from the triggers of stress or anger and brings you back to what you can control, your breath. Another practical method is what I like to call mindful observation. Choose an ordinary task or moment, like drinking a cup of coffee. Focus all your senses on this experience. Notice the aroma, the heat of the cup in your hands, the taste. This practice of engaging fully with the present moment can transform an ordinary experience into a richer, more textured moment. What's fascinating about this is that it trains your brain to apply the same level of awareness to more challenging situations. When anger or frustration arises, you'll be better equipped to handle it with the same focus and calm. Stoicism also teaches us about the impermanence of our experiences. Nothing lasts forever, not even our emotions. Mindfulness complements this by helping us to experience our feelings without judgment. Acknowledge that you're angry, recognize it, but also remind yourself that this anger is just a passing state. It's not who you are, and it doesn't control you, unless you let it. The idea that everything changes and nothing lasts forever is a universal truth that can help us navigate life's ups and downs with more grace and less frustration. It's about understanding that our circumstances, emotions, and even our thoughts are constantly in flux, and learning to embrace this constant state of change rather than resisting it. Think about how often we get upset because things didn't go as planned. Maybe it was a job promotion that didn't come through, a relationship that ended unexpectedly, or a sudden change in our health. Our first reaction might be to resist these changes, to get angry or sad. But Stoicism invites us to look at these situations differently, through the lens of impermanence. When we truly grasp that nothing is permanent, we start to realize that our anger or disappointment is also temporary. This doesn't diminish the importance of our feelings, but gives us a more balanced perspective on them. Embracing impermanence allows us to live more in the present and worry less about the past and the future. If you know that everything is temporary, you begin to appreciate your experiences and the people around you more deeply. You don't take things for granted because you're aware that circumstances can change at any moment. This awareness can be incredibly freeing. It reduces the sting of negative events and enhances the joy of positive ones. Now, how do we practice accepting impermanence in daily life? Start by reflecting on the transient nature of your surroundings and experiences. For example, watch how the seasons change. Observe how your feelings shift throughout the day, or how your relationships evolve over time. These observations can be reminders that change is the only constant. Another way to integrate this into your life is by adjusting how you respond to disruptions or unexpected changes. Instead of reacting with frustration when something doesn't go your way, take a moment to acknowledge that this change is part of a bigger flow of life. It's an opportunity to adapt and grow. Think about a time when something didn't work out as you had hoped, and then something better came along. Often, it's only in hindsight that we see how these changes were beneficial. Stoicism doesn't just ask us to accept impermanence, it encourages us to find strength in it. Each change and ending is a chance to practice resilience and flexibility. By fostering this mindset, we not only cope with life's challenges more effectively, but also learn to move through them with a sense of peace and anticipation for what's next. The Stoics believe that becoming aware of the root causes of our emotions could lead to greater self-mastery. When we understand our emotions, we are better equipped to respond to life's challenges in ways that are aligned with our values and goals, rather than simply reacting out of habit or impulse. Every emotion we experience, whether it's anger, joy, sadness, or fear, is triggered by our perception. For example, if you feel angry when someone interrupts you while speaking, it's worth exploring why. Is it because you feel disrespected? Or perhaps it reflects a deeper insecurity about your voice being heard. By digging into these questions, you can begin to understand not just your reactions, but also the beliefs and values that underlie them. This understanding is crucial because it gives you the opportunity to change your perceptions and consequently the way you feel. Stoicism teaches us that our emotions are predicated on our judgments. The good news is that judgments can be examined and changed. So when you feel a strong emotion, try to step back and ask yourself, what am I believing right now? Is this belief true? Is it helpful? This kind of questioning can be very powerful. It allows you to shift your perspective and choose a different emotional response, one that serves you better. For instance, if you're feeling anxious about a work presentation, it might be because you believe that you must perform perfectly in order to be respected. But is this really true? Likely, your colleagues value your effort and sincerity more than perfection. Recognizing this can alleviate some of your anxiety and help you approach the situation with more calmness and confidence. Practically speaking, journaling can be an incredibly effective tool for understanding your emotions. By writing down what you feel and exploring why you feel it, you can uncover patterns and triggers that you might not be aware of otherwise. This reflection not only helps in the moment, but also builds a sort of emotional intelligence over time that can make you more resilient and adaptable. Another approach is to discuss your feelings with someone you trust, a friend, a family member, or a mentor. Speaking about your emotions can provide new insights and perspectives that you might not have considered. It's often through dialogue that we come to new understandings about ourselves and our relationships. Embracing the Stoic approach to emotions isn't about suppressing what you feel. On the contrary, it's about engaging with your emotions in a proactive and reflective way. It's about taking control of the narrative of your inner life. By understanding your emotions, you're not just reacting to the world, you're actively shaping your experience of it. Stoicism teaches us the value of patience, not just as a way to endure, but as a method to transform our experiences. Patience, according to Stoic philosophy, isn't just about waiting, it's about how we behave while we wait. It's about maintaining our composure and dignity in the face of life's delays and challenges, understanding that these are often outside our control. In our daily lives, we encounter countless situations that can trigger impatience, from a slow-moving line at the grocery store to a traffic jam or a delayed response from a colleague. Our first instinct might be to feel irritated or stressed, but here's where Stoicism comes into play. It encourages us to see these moments as opportunities to practice virtue. Every instance of delay is a chance to exercise patience, to reinforce our ability to stay calm and collected. So, how can we develop patience in practical terms? One effective approach is to adjust our expectations. Often, our impatience stems from a mismatch between our expectations and reality. If we start by acknowledging that delays and obstacles are natural parts of life, we're less likely to get upset when they occur. This doesn't mean lowering our standards, but rather aligning our expectations with the fact that the world won't always operate according to our preferences. Another key method is to use the moments of waiting as opportunities for growth and reflection. If you're stuck in traffic, instead of fuming over the delay, you can turn it into valuable time, listening to an audiobook, practice deep breathing, or simply reflect on your day. This shift in perspective turns a frustrating situation into a productive or relaxing one. Practicing mindfulness is also a powerful ally in developing patience. By being present in the moment and fully engaging with it, we can distance ourselves from the feelings of urgency and restlessness that often accompany waiting. Mindfulness helps us cultivate a peaceful state of mind that buffers us against the stirrings of impatience. Stoicism not only advocates for patience, but also for understanding the impermanence of our current state. Remembering that this too shall pass can help us endure unpleasant situations, whether it's waiting for a delayed flight or enduring a long recovery from an illness. The knowledge that it is temporary makes it more bearable. Finally, celebrating small victories is crucial in developing patience. When you manage to stay calm during a situation that would normally make you impatient, acknowledge and reward yourself for this achievement. This reinforces the behavior and makes it more likely to become a habit. This is one of those transformative experiences that not only changes the way we relate to others, but also profoundly affects our inner peace. Forgiveness in the Stoic sense is not about condoning wrongdoings or forgetting the harm done. It's about freeing ourselves from the emotional burden that comes from carrying grudges. Forgiveness requires a strong sense of self-awareness and control over one's emotions, qualities that Stoics strive to develop. It involves recognizing that our anger and hurt, while natural and valid responses to perceived injustices, are ultimately within our control. This doesn't mean that the process is simple or immediate. Forgiveness can be challenging. It often requires a deliberate, concerted effort to let go of deep-seated feelings of injustice. Consider the power that comes from deciding not to allow someone else's actions to disturb your inner tranquility. This is the essence of Stoic forgiveness. It's about making a conscious choice to not let past actions continually affect your present state of mind. This decision helps you reclaim your emotional energy and focus it on more constructive pursuits that align with your values and goals. Now, how do we start practicing forgiveness in everyday life? It begins with the recognition that all humans are fallible, ourselves included. We all make mistakes, sometimes out of ignorance, sometimes out of malice. Reflecting on our own shortcomings can help us develop empathy towards others, making it easier to forgive. Another Stoic practice is to consider the bigger picture. Often, the things we hold on to are not as significant in the grand scheme of our lives. By focusing on our long-term well-being, which is bolstered by peace and harmony, the immediate sting of grievances can be mitigated. Practicing forgiveness also involves actively reframing our narratives. Instead of viewing yourself as a victim, which can perpetuate feelings of anger and helplessness, try to see yourself as a survivor, or even a hero of your story, one who has overcome challenges and emerged stronger. This shift in perspective not only facilitates forgiveness, but also empowers you in your life's journey. Moreover, engaging in meditation or mindfulness exercises can assist in the process. These practices help calm the mind and provide the space needed to process emotions more rationally and less reactively. As you sit quietly and focus on your breath, allow thoughts of forgiveness to enter your mind. Picture those you feel have wronged you and imagine sending them thoughts of goodwill. This doesn't mean you accept the wrong, but you are choosing to release its hold over you. Finally, it's important to understand that forgiveness is a process, sometimes a lengthy one. It doesn't happen all at once, and that's perfectly okay. Each step towards forgiveness, no matter how small, is a step towards a freer, more emotionally balanced life. At its essence, self-retrobe allows us to pause before reacting, giving us the time to consider whether our impulses align with our long-term goals. For instance, if you're trying to lead a healthier lifestyle, self-retrobe is what helps you choose not to eat that late-night junk food. In emotional situations, self-retrobe helps you hold back a harsh word or an angry reply, preserving relationships and maintaining peace of mind. How can we strengthen this essential skill? One effective Stoic practice is to regularly reflect on our actions and their consequences. This could be as simple as taking a few minutes each evening to think about the choices you made throughout the day. Were there moments when you lacked self-control? What triggered it? Understanding these patterns is the first step towards managing them. Another powerful technique is to set clear personal rules for behavior based on your values. Stoicism teaches us that living according to rational principles is key to a good life. By setting and following your own rules, for example, not checking your phone during meals or limiting time spent on social media, you exercise self-control in ways that directly improve your daily life and well-being. Visualization is another tool that can be incredibly helpful. Before entering a situation where you know you might be tempted to act impulsively, take a moment to visualize yourself handling the situation with calm and restraint. Imagine the satisfaction you'll feel from acting in accordance with your principles. This mental rehearsal can make it much easier to keep your cool in the heat of the moment. In a world that often seems ruled by chaos and noise, there lies a powerful secret known by the ancient Stoics that can transform the way you experience life. It's not found in the clamor of the crowd, nor is it hidden in the relentless chase for fleeting pleasures. This secret is the art of mastering your own mind, a path to tranquility and strength that Stoicism teaches with elegant simplicity. Today, we're diving deep into this profound philosophy to uncover how the Stoic way of life can offer you not just peace, but also a clarity and resilience that stands unshaken, even in life's storms. Join me as we explore how to harness these timeless truths to steer through our modern world with the wisdom of the Stoics guiding every step. Whether you're battling daily stresses or seeking a deeper sense of fulfillment, understanding how to control your mind the Stoic way isn't just about coping with life, it's about thriving in it. If you appreciate what we're diving into here, a simple free favor I'll ask from you is to hit the subscribe button. And trust me, you won't want to skip any part of this journey we're on together today. One of the most liberating teachings of Stoicism hinges on a simple yet profound idea. The only thing truly within our control is ourselves, our reactions, our emotions, and our thoughts. This principle encourages us to detach from the heavy weight of others' opinions. In our journey today, we delve into why letting go of what others think isn't just freeing, it's a strategic move towards mastering your own mind. Think about it. How often have you changed a decision, hesitated on a new venture, or even altered your appearance based on what you thought others might say or think? It's a common trap, one that can lead to a life driven by external validation rather than internal conviction. Stoicism teaches us to shift this focus. By anchoring our actions and thoughts in our own values, we strengthen our mental fortitude against the chaos of external judgments. Let's consider Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, who famously said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." His words are a call to focus on our own mental responses, rather than trying to control the uncontrollable. This doesn't mean we become indifferent to others, but rather that we prioritize our own judgment and peace of mind above external approval. This philosophy doesn't ask us to disregard feedback completely. Instead, it empowers us to choose which pieces of feedback are constructive and aligned with our deeper goals, and which are merely distractions. It's about cultivating a garden within, where the seeds of your thoughts are nurtured by your own values and convictions, not trampled by the judgments of others. Imagine the freedom of making choices without fearing criticism or seeking approval. You begin to live more authentically, guided by what truly matters to you. As you practice this Stoic approach, you'll find that not only does your dependence on external validation wane, but your confidence and inner peace swell. This isn't just about toughening up in the traditional sense. It's about cultivating an inner landscape where your emotions serve you rather than control you. This is where Stoicism offers invaluable insights. The Stoics didn't teach suppression of emotion, but rather the understanding and managing of emotions to enhance well-being and personal growth. Consider the Stoic practice of viewing obstacles as opportunities, a method championed by the philosopher Seneca. He argued that every challenge or hardship was a chance to practice virtues such as patience, courage, and temperance. By reframing our struggles as opportunities to develop strength, we transform our emotional response to them. Instead of feeling overwhelmed by adversity, we can approach it with a sense of purpose and use it as a stepping stone toward greater resilience. Another key aspect of cultivating emotional resilience is maintaining a perspective that aligns with reality. Epictetus taught that our distress comes not from events themselves, but from our judgments about them. By adjusting our judgments and expectations to be more in line with reality, we reduce unnecessary suffering. For instance, if we accept that we can't control the actions of others, but can control our reactions, we're less likely to be upset by someone else's behavior. Emotional resilience also involves understanding that emotions themselves are not commands. Just because we feel angry, hurt, or anxious doesn't mean we are compelled to act on those feelings. This distance between feeling and action is critical. It gives us the time to choose our response. The Stoics called this the space in which we can exercise our reason and freedom. To enhance your emotional resilience, start by incorporating daily reflections. End each day by asking yourself, what went well? What challenges did I face? How did I respond? This practice of self-reflection reinforces your ability to apply Stoic principles in everyday life, gradually building your resilience. Now think about how you can apply them, not just in moments of crisis, but as part of your daily routine. Emotional resilience isn't built overnight, but with consistent practice and a Stoic mindset, you'll find yourself more prepared to handle whatever life throws your way, not just surviving your experiences, but thriving through them. At the heart of Stoic philosophy is the profound recognition that while we can't control what happens to us, we can control how we perceive and react to these events. This is the true power of perception. Realizing that our reactions are molded not by the events themselves, but by the interpretations we attach to them. Imagine this. You're stuck in traffic and running late for an important meeting. You can perceive this situation as a disaster, a narrative that might lead to anger and frustration. Alternatively, you could see it as an opportunity to listen to a favorite podcast or audiobook, thus reclaiming the time and transforming a frustrating experience into an enjoyable one. The Stoic practice of perception management is about choosing the latter approach, actively deciding to view circumstances in a way that aligns with inner peace and wisdom. Epictetus, a Stoic philosopher, famously said, "Men are disturbed not by things, but by the view which they take of them." This encapsulates the essence of Stoic thought on perception. It's a reminder that our peace of mind comes not from the events in our lives, but from our responses to them. By training ourselves to adopt more helpful perspectives, we gain a significant measure of control over our emotional well-being. Cultivating this skill begins with mindfulness and self-awareness. It involves observing our automatic thoughts and questioning their accuracy. Does this thought reflect reality? Is there another way to view the situation? This practice of questioning and reframing is a form of cognitive restructuring that can dramatically alter our emotional landscape. To integrate this into your daily life, start by identifying situations where your initial reaction might not be the most constructive. Experiment with reframing your thoughts to see the situation in a new light. This could be as simple as interpreting a critique at work not as an attack on your abilities, but as valuable feedback that can spur personal and professional growth. The power of perception is not about deceiving ourselves or ignoring reality. It's about adjusting our lens so that we can see life more clearly and respond to it in ways that align with our deepest values. By practicing this Stoic technique, you not only enhance your own resilience, but also your capacity for happiness and fulfillment. It's a transformative process, turning everyday challenges into opportunities for growth and self-discovery. This doesn't merely mean taking more hikes or planting a garden, though those are fantastic ways to connect with nature. It's deeper. It's about recognizing and adhering to the natural laws of human behavior and the universe. The Stoics believed that every part of the cosmos, including humans, has a role to play, a purpose dictated by nature itself. For us, this means living a life of virtue in accordance with reason, which the Stoics considered the highest function of our nature. Marcus Aurelius often wrote about nature's interconnectedness in his personal writings. He saw each individual's actions as part of a larger symphony of the universe, where going against this natural order causes discord and unhappiness. In practical terms, living according to nature involves several key behaviors. First, it encourages the practice of self-reflection, to understand our place within the larger context of the world. This reflection leads to a profound understanding of what is within our control and what is not, helping us to live more harmoniously with the inevitable. For example, accepting that we cannot control other people's actions or the outcome of many situations, but we can control our reactions to them. Moreover, this Stoic principle teaches us to embrace simplicity and to find satisfaction in it. This could mean reducing our desires to align more closely with what is naturally necessary and sufficient for happiness. It asks us to question, are our pursuits and desires in line with our true nature, or are they artificially constructed by societal pressures? To cultivate a life according to nature, start small. Reflect each day on where you might be resisting natural flows in your life or where you might be forcing outcomes. Try to align more closely with the rhythm of your environment. Wake with the sun, eat seasonally, and listen more deeply to your body's needs and the needs of others around you. This approach isn't about relinquishing ambition or desire, but about harmonizing those drives with the natural order, ensuring they arise from true necessity and virtue rather than fleeting whims. Let's remember that to live according to nature is to embrace a life of harmony, simplicity, and virtue. It's about making peace with the world as it is, not as we wish it to be, and finding our unique and rightful place within it. As you move through your day, consider this Stoic wisdom and observe how it might transform your understanding of happiness and your place in the world. This is far more than just a method to control our urges or stick to a routine. It is about aligning our daily actions with our deeper values and virtues. Stoics believe that self-discipline isn't merely about personal gain, but about cultivating a life that is in harmony with reason and moral purpose. Seneca often discussed how self-discipline, or self-control, is essential to living a good life. He suggested that without it, we are slaves to our passions rather than rulers of our own minds. Imagine the power and freedom that come from being in complete control of your actions and decisions, no matter what temptations or immediate gratifications present themselves. This is the heart of Stoic self-discipline. In practice, self-discipline means making choices that reflect your values, even when they aren't the easiest or most immediately gratifying options available. For example, choosing to save money instead of spending it impulsively aligns with a value of financial security and independence. Similarly, deciding to wake up early to meditate or exercise before a busy day demonstrates a commitment to health and mindfulness, prioritizing long-term well-being over extra sleep. Moreover, the Stoics didn't see self-discipline as a solitary pursuit, but as something that benefited the community. By controlling our impulses and making reasoned decisions, we contribute to a more rational, calm, and considerate society. Each personal choice impacts those around us, whether we're aware of it or not. To incorporate more self-discipline into your life, start by identifying areas where your actions don't align with your values. Perhaps you value health but often skip workouts, or you value learning but watch too much uneducative TV. Once identified, set small, manageable goals to begin reshaping your habits. It could be as simple as reading for 30 minutes before bed instead of scrolling through your phone, or preparing a healthy meal instead of ordering takeout. Self-discipline in Stoicism is not about punishing oneself or living a life of denial, but about making reasoned choices that lead to true freedom and happiness. It's about being in control of your actions, and by extension, your life's direction. As you practice self-discipline, observe how it changes not just what you do, but how you feel about yourself and your place in the world. Remember, in the Stoic view, self-discipline is a form of self-respect. Every day that you live according to your principles, you honor yourself and the community to which you belong. It's about making consistent choices that build a resilient, fulfilling life, not just for yourself, but for all. The Stoics taught that the present is all we truly own, and mastering our focus on the now can lead to profound tranquility and effectiveness. Marcus Aurelius often emphasized the importance of concentrating on the present task with full attention, a practice he described as doing one thing at a time and resting in the simplicity of his actions. Imagine if, instead of multitasking frantically, you chose to do each task sequentially with full dedication. This focus not only increases productivity, but also imbues each moment with quality and purpose. Living in the present also means accepting each moment as it comes, without imposing our judgments or wishes on it. When we stop fighting reality, stop wishing for things to be different, and start responding to the actual demands of the now, we engage with life on a more genuine level. This doesn't mean passivity or resignation. It's an active acknowledgement that the only time we can truly influence is the present. To cultivate this skill, begin by noticing when your mind wanders into the past or future. Gently remind yourself to come back to the present. Practices like mindfulness meditation can be incredibly helpful in developing this skill. Just sitting quietly for a few minutes each day, observing your breath and watching thoughts come and go without attachment, can significantly increase your ability to stay centered in the current moment. Another practical tip is to engage fully with whatever you're doing. If you're eating, just eat. If you're walking, just walk. Fully immerse yourself in the sensations and activities of the present moment. This practice can transform mundane tasks into moments of deep life experience and joy. By embracing the present, you align yourself more closely with Stoic principles, enhancing your capacity to respond to life with equanimity and poise. Over time, this practice not only improves your mental well-being, but also deepens your relationships and your engagement with life, making each day richer and more fulfilling. Remember, life is a series of present moments. How we live each moment largely determines how we live our lives. One of the more profound but often overlooked aspects of Stoicism involves the concept of community. Marcus Aurelius himself saw humans as inherently social creatures, meant to live not in isolation, but in harmonious interaction with others. This idea underscores the Stoic belief that building or joining a community is not just a personal choice, but a moral imperative. Stoicism teaches that each person has something valuable to contribute to the collective, and in return, the community offers support, wisdom, and perspective that one cannot find when alone. Imagine the strength and resilience of a network where each individual acts with virtue and reason. Such a group could significantly amplify the positive impact on each member's life. In practical terms, actively participating in a community can mean various things. It might be as simple as joining a local group that shares your interests, or volunteering for causes that align with your values. In today's digital age, community can also extend to online forums and social media platforms, where Stoic principles are discussed and life challenges are navigated collectively. Participating in these communities allows for the exchange of ideas and provides a support system that can be crucial during tough times. It's about giving and receiving advice, sharing resources, or simply providing an empathetic ear. Every interaction offers a chance to practice Stoic virtues such as kindness, understanding, and patience. Furthermore, engaging in community life enhances our sense of belonging and purpose. It reinforces the Stoic idea that we are part of something larger than ourselves, which can be incredibly fulfilling. This doesn't mean losing your individuality. On the contrary, it's about expressing your unique virtues in ways that benefit others. To start building this aspect of your Stoic practice, look for communities that resonate with your interests. Attend local or virtual meetups, participate in community service, or start a discussion group about Stoicism and its application in modern life. Each step you take toward being part of a community not only enriches your life, but also strengthens the collective fabric, embodying the true Stoic spirit of living harmoniously within the human cosmopolis. The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. In a world that constantly tries to dictate how we should feel, think, and act, imagine possessing the power to find inner peace and happiness, regardless of the circumstances swirling around you. That's not just powerful, it's revolutionary. It's about taking control, not of the world, but of something far more important and absolutely within our reach, our own minds. Stoicism teaches us resilience, gratitude, and the art of living a fulfilled life. But this isn't just a history lesson. It's about you, your life today. It's about facing the chaos of our modern world without losing your cool. It's about finding calm in the storm and happiness in the simplest of things. It's about transforming your mornings from something you dread into a powerful launchpad for a day filled with purpose and joy. So, if you've ever felt overwhelmed by the noise of life, if you've ever struggled to find a moment's peace, or if you're just curious about how ancient wisdom can be your secret weapon in the 21st century, stick around. This might just be the video that changes everything for you. Let's dive into the Stoic strategies that can help us craft not just a morning routine, but a life filled with intention, resilience, and true happiness. I implore you to give your full attention to this video from start to finish. If you've made it here, you're not like everyone else. You're a standout, someone who seeks depth and wisdom. Your dedication to absorbing this content in full sets you apart even further. This might sound like a fancy term, but it's actually a beautifully simple concept that comes from Japan. It's about discovering that sweet spot where your passions, skills, societal needs, and what you can be paid for all intersect. It's your unique reason for being. Imagine waking up each morning fueled by a clear purpose that excites you, something that makes the thought of hitting snooze irrelevant. Marcus Aurelius wasn't just about enduring life's hardships with a stiff upper lip. He was deeply invested in the idea that we're all here to play our part, to contribute something meaningful. He urged us to approach each day as an opportunity to fulfill our role with integrity and passion. Now, think about that in the context of Ikigai. It's not just about finding what you love. It's about aligning it with what the world needs and what you're good at. That's where the magic happens. But how do you start uncovering your Ikigai? It begins with some introspection. Ask yourself, what am I passionate about? What am I good at? What does the world need from me? What can I get paid for? It's okay if the answers don't come to you right away. This is about the journey, exploring different facets of your life and interests and seeing where they converge. This quest for your Ikigai isn't just some fluffy, feel-good exercise. It's about setting the foundation for a life that's rich in meaning and satisfaction. When you align your daily actions with your deeper purpose, even mundane tasks gain significance. Your relationships start to flourish because you're more present and engaged. Your creativity soars because you're aligned with your true passions. And overall happiness? Well, it becomes more of a constant companion than a fleeting visitor. So, as you think about setting your alarm for tomorrow morning, consider what Ikigai means for you. What could be so compelling that you leap out of bed, eager to start the day? Remember, this isn't about overnight transformation. It's a process, a gentle unfolding. And as Marcus Aurelius would remind us, it's about doing the work, day by day, with dedication and honor. Finding your Ikigai isn't just about personal fulfillment. It's about embracing your role in the larger tapestry of life, contributing your unique thread to the ever-evolving human story. The ancient Stoics, particularly Marcus Aurelius, were big on the idea that our actions should be purposeful, not just random acts thrown into the wind, but deliberate steps guided by our inner compass. This philosophy extends beautifully into how we prepare for the day ahead, starting the night before. Here's the deal. The quality of your morning begins with how you spend your evening. It's tempting to binge watch your favorite series until the wee hours or scroll through social media until your eyes blur. But let's pause and consider how that sets you up for the next day. Your brain needs time to unwind, to process the day's events, and to recharge for what's ahead. That's where a solid pre-sleep routine comes into play. Imagine treating your evening routine with the same respect and intention as you would any other important aspect of your life. This isn't about rigid self-discipline that sucks the joy out of your evenings. It's about creating a space that supports your well-being and aligns with your goals for the next day. For instance, limiting screen time an hour before bed isn't about denying yourself relaxation. It's about giving your mind the cue that it's time to wind down, making it easier to fall asleep and wake up feeling refreshed. Planning a bit for the next day can also be a game changer. It could be as simple as jotting down your top 3 priorities for tomorrow. This act alone sets a clear direction, ensuring you wake up with a sense of purpose. And here's where the Stoic mindset really shines. It's about acknowledging what's within our control and letting go of what's not. We might not be able to control every detail of our day, but we can certainly influence how we start it. And let's not forget about some deep breathing or meditation to calm the mind. This practice isn't just fluff. It's a powerful tool that signals to your body that it's time to rest. Inhaling deeply and exhaling slowly helps reduce stress, lower your heart rate, and prepare your body for deep, restorative sleep. It's like pressing the reset button, ensuring you wake up not just physically refreshed, but mentally and emotionally as well. In today's always-on world, this might sound like a Herculean task, but it's absolutely vital for setting the tone of your entire day. Picture this. The first moments of your morning, untainted by the digital clamor of emails, social media notifications, or the buzzing news cycle. It's just you, your thoughts, and the serene quiet of the dawn. That's not just refreshing, it's empowering. Marcus Aurelius was a strong advocate for living with intention and focus. He wasn't distracted by the notifications of ancient Rome, and believe me, he had his share of distractions. Instead, he emphasized the importance of concentrating on the present moment and the task at hand. He knew something that's even more relevant today. The quality of your attention determines the quality of your life. So, how do we apply this ancient wisdom in the modern age? First, it's about creating a morning space that's intentionally free from digital distractions. This isn't about shunning technology, but rather choosing not to let it dictate the start of your day. It's tempting to roll over and immediately check your phone, but that instantly puts you in a reactive state, responding to the demands and dramas of the external world. Instead, give yourself the gift of a peaceful start. Imagine dedicating the first hour of your day to activities that nourish your soul and sharpen your mind. Maybe it's reading, meditating, journaling, or simply enjoying a cup of coffee as you gaze out the window. This isn't wasted time, it's an investment in your well-being. By avoiding distractions, you're not just avoiding stress, you're actively creating a reservoir of peace and focus that you'll draw from throughout the day. Making the most of your mornings isn't about adding more to your to-do list. It's about subtracting the noise that doesn't serve you. It's about prioritizing what truly matters before the day's demands start pulling at your attention. This is where the Stoic practice of focusing on what's within your control comes into play. You might not be able to control the flood of emails waiting for you, but you can control how and when you choose to engage with them. So tomorrow, challenge yourself to start the day on your terms. Resist the urge to dive into the digital world first thing. Instead, anchor yourself in the present moment, savoring the peace and potential that the morning holds. Remember, every day is a new opportunity to live more intentionally, more serenely, and more in line with who you aspire to be. Let's make our mornings a testament to that ambition, guided by the timeless wisdom of Stoicism and an unwavering focus on what truly matters. Stoicism, at its core, is about understanding what is within our control and acting with virtue and intention in those areas. Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, Epictetus, these guys weren't just talking about enduring life's hardships with a stiff upper lip. They were advocating for a proactive engagement with life, taking charge of our actions and our mindset. Waking up consistently is a practice that embodies this philosophy. It's a declaration that we are in control of how we start our day, that we are not at the mercy of whims or external pressures. Building a life, as Stoicism suggests, step by step, with contentment in each action, is a powerful concept. It reminds us that big changes start with small, consistent actions. Waking up at the same time each morning might seem like a small thing, but it's a cornerstone habit that sets the stage for everything else. It's about creating a stable foundation for your day, where you're not rushing from the moment you open your eyes, but rather starting with a sense of control and purpose. But here's the thing, consistency is challenging. It's supposed to be. The early days of trying to wake up at the same time each morning can feel like an uphill battle. Your bed feels more comfortable than ever, and the temptation to hit snooze just one more time can feel irresistible. This is where the Stoic practice of perseverance comes in. It's about reminding yourself why you're doing this, about the person you're becoming through this discipline. It's about seeing beyond the immediate comfort and focusing on the long-term benefits this habit will bring into your life. Becoming a morning person, then, is not just about the mornings themselves. It's about embodying the qualities that make you resilient, focused, and intentional throughout your day. It's a practice in self-mastery, in aligning your actions with your values, and in cultivating the kind of life you want to live, one morning at a time. So how do we make consistency our ally? Start by setting a clear intention the night before. Remind yourself why waking up at a specific time is important to you. Is it to have more quiet time in the morning for reading or meditation? Is it to exercise, or simply to start your day in a more relaxed and controlled manner? Then create an environment that supports this habit. Maybe it's going to bed a bit earlier to ensure you get enough sleep, or keeping your curtains slightly open to let the natural light wake you up gently. And when it gets tough, remember the Stoic belief in the power of our own will and the importance of acting according to our principles. Each morning that you wake up at your chosen time, you're not just starting your day, you're reinforcing a commitment to yourself, to your growth, and to living a life of intention and purpose. Amidst all this talk of discipline, consistency, and waking up with the sun, it's paramount to remember one thing: we're human. And being human means we're beautifully complex creatures with brains that often prefer the path of least resistance, the instant gratification route. This is precisely why embarking on new habits like transforming our mornings can initially feel like an uphill battle. Yet, there's something incredibly freeing in acknowledging this fact. It's not a flaw, it's just part of the human experience. Now, let's channel some Stoicism into this concept. Stoicism teaches us the importance of self-compassion and understanding alongside its calls for discipline and resilience. Marcus Aurelius, in his personal writings, often reminded himself to be patient and forgiving with his own shortcomings. He knew that berating oneself for every slip-up was not the path to growth. Instead, he advocated for recognizing our errors, learning from them, and then letting them go. This approach is crucial when we're trying to cultivate new morning routines, or any habit, for that matter. Those first few days, or even weeks, can be tough. Your alarm goes off and every fiber of your being wants to stay cocooned in the warmth of your bed. And let's be honest, there will be days when you'll give in to that desire. That's okay. The key is what you do next. Do you beat yourself up, spiraling into a cycle of guilt and self-criticism? Or do you take a breath, forgive yourself, and see the next morning as a fresh opportunity to try again? Forgiveness and patience with ourselves are not signs of weakness. They're indicators of strength and wisdom. They mean we're in it for the long haul, ready to navigate the ups and downs with grace. This Stoic practice of self-compassion is about understanding our nature, working with it, and gently nudging ourselves toward the habits and life we aspire to. Moreover, taking it easy isn't about making excuses or allowing ourselves to perpetually fall short of our goals. It's about recognizing that growth is a process filled with learning curves and setbacks. It's about understanding that each new day brings with it a new set of challenges and opportunities. And it's in this daily renewal that we find our strength and resilience. So, as you work on embracing those early mornings, or any new habit, remember to take it easy on yourself. Celebrate the small victories, learn from the setbacks, and approach each day with a heart ready to try again. This isn't just about becoming a morning person. It's about cultivating a mindset that's prepared to face life's challenges with a blend of determination and kindness. Consider the simple act of placing your alarm clock across the room. It's not just about making it physically harder to snooze. It's a statement. It's a commitment to start the day on your terms, to rise despite the comfort of the bed's embrace. It's a small act of defense against the inertia of sleep and comfort, a step toward embracing the day with intention. Similarly, making your bed each morning might feel like a trivial task, especially when you're the only one who'll see it. Yet, it's so much more than smoothing sheets and fluffing pillows. It's an exercise in care, in telling yourself that your environment and how you engage with it matters. It's about creating a space that reflects the order and respect you're cultivating within yourself. These small victories, as Marcus Aurelius would likely argue, are the building blocks of a disciplined life. They're the everyday choices that, while easy to overlook, cumulatively mold our character. Each time you choose to do these little things, you're casting a vote for the type of person you want to be. You're choosing to be someone who values discipline, order, and respect for oneself and one's environment. But why focus on these small acts? Because they're within everyone's reach. Not all of us can control the major events in our lives, the upheavals, the unexpected turns, but we can control how we respond to the start of each day, how we treat our immediate surroundings, and how we prime ourselves for whatever lies ahead. This is Stoicism in action, focusing on what's in our power to control and letting go of what isn't. Moreover, these practices aren't just about building discipline for discipline's sake. They're about cultivating a mindset that's prepared for life's bigger challenges. If you can commit to these small acts of discipline, you're training yourself to uphold your commitments in more significant areas. You're sharpening your ability to follow through, to remain steady in the face of adversity, and to approach life with a calm, collected demeanor, qualities that define the Stoic ideal. So, as you consider the role of discipline in your life, start small. Look for those everyday opportunities to practice self-control and order. Remember, it's in these moments, in the quiet of the morning, when you decide to rise and face the day with intention, that your character is forged. These practices are not just chores or tasks. They're rituals, imbuing your day with purpose and your life with a sense of direction and meaning. The idea here is simple yet profoundly impactful. Sharing your goals with someone who not only supports you, but also holds you accountable can significantly amplify your chances of success. It transforms a personal journey into a shared adventure, making the path to fulfilling your morning routine and ultimately your life's purpose less daunting and more enjoyable. Think of your accountability partner as your ally in the pursuit of self-improvement. This person is there to remind you of your commitments when the warmth of your bed feels too comforting to leave in the early hours. They're there to encourage you when progress seems slow and to celebrate your victories no matter how small. This relationship is a two-way street. It's about mutual support and encouragement, grounded in the understanding that we're all striving to be the best versions of ourselves. The Stoics, including Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus, often emphasize the importance of community and relationships in the development of character and virtue. They believed in the power of wisdom shared, in learning from one another, and in the strength that comes from knowing you're not alone in your struggles. Finding an accountability partner in today's world is a nod to this timeless wisdom, recognizing that while the journey towards self-discipline and purpose is personal, it need not be solitary. Moreover, an accountability partner can help you see blind spots in your routine or approach that you might miss on your own. They can offer new perspectives and insights that can catalyze your growth in unexpected ways. This partnership is about more than just checking in to see if you woke up on time or followed through on your morning meditation. It's about engaging in meaningful dialogue about what's working, what isn't, and how you can both support each other in making adjustments. So, how do you find this accountability partner? Look for someone who shares your commitment to growth and self-improvement. This could be a friend, a family member, or even a colleague. The key is to choose someone you trust. Someone with whom you can be open and honest about your goals, struggles, and successes. Once you've found that person, be clear about what you're hoping to achieve and what kind of support you need. Set regular check-ins and be there for each other, offering encouragement, advice, and, when necessary, a gentle nudge back on track. Remember, finding an accountability partner is about more than just external motivation. It's about building a relationship that inspires and uplifts both of you. It's about creating a shared space where honesty, vulnerability, and mutual support are valued and nurtured. In this space, your morning routines and broader life goals become intertwined in a collective effort toward living a more intentional, disciplined, and fulfilling life. The Stoic practice of reflecting on mortality is a call to action, a prompt to live our lives with purpose and intention. It encourages us not to squander our time on trivialities, but to concentrate on creating a meaningful legacy. Every morning when we wake up, we're presented with a fresh opportunity to engage with life in a meaningful way, to contribute positively to the world around us, and to pursue personal growth and fulfillment. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, often wrote about the fleeting nature of life, emphasizing the importance of living virtuously and making the most of the time we have. This wasn't meant to be somber. Rather, it was a liberating realization that freed him from petty concerns and allowed him to focus on his duties as emperor and as a human being striving for virtue. The idea is that by keeping the end in mind, we're more likely to live our lives with purpose and clarity, prioritizing the things and relationships that truly matter. Remembering death in the context of our morning routines transforms how we approach each day. It's not just another day, it's a day that we've been gifted, one that's not guaranteed to anyone. This realization can profoundly impact how we choose to spend our time, the activities we engage in, the relationships we nurture, and the legacy we strive to build. It's a reminder to live fully, to love deeply, and to leave the world a little better than we found it. Moreover, this Stoic practice helps us maintain perspective in the face of life's inevitable challenges and setbacks. When we remember that our time is limited, the daily annoyances and obstacles lose much of their power over us. We become more resilient, more focused on our long-term goals, and less likely to be derailed by temporary difficulties. It's a practice that fosters gratitude for the present moment and inspires us to make the most of it. So, how can we incorporate this Stoic principle into our daily lives? It begins with a moment of reflection each morning. Consider the day ahead as a blank canvas, an opportunity to contribute positively to your life story and to those around you. Ask yourself, if this were my last day, would I be proud of how I'm choosing to spend it? This doesn't mean living in a constant state of existential crisis, but rather cultivating a deep appreciation for the now, for the opportunity to live, learn, and love. In embracing the Stoic practice of remembering death, we're not focusing on the end, but on the present and how we choose to live each day. It's a powerful antidote to complacency and a reminder to live our lives with intention, purpose, and gratitude. So let's greet each morning with the awareness that it is a gift, an opportunity to craft a life that's rich in meaning and aligned with our deepest values. This is the essence of living stoically, making the most of our finite time in this world to create a legacy that endures. We're often told to focus on the positive, to visualize success and happiness in order to attract them into our lives. However, the Stoics, in their profound wisdom, offer a different perspective, one that's not only practical but incredibly empowering. Negative visualization isn't about pessimism. Rather, it's a tool for resilience, preparation, and ultimately, greater appreciation of the present. The essence of this practice is to periodically imagine the challenges, losses, or difficulties you might face in life. This could range from minor inconveniences, like a missed bus or a rainy day, to more significant hardships, such as the loss of a job or a loved one. The purpose isn't to dwell on these scenarios in a way that breeds fear or anxiety, but to mentally rehearse how you would cope with such situations should they arise. This process of visualization prepares you emotionally and mentally, making you less susceptible to being thrown off course by life's inevitable ups and downs. Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus all believed that by contemplating the temporary nature of everything outside our control, we could cultivate a deeper sense of peace and resilience. This practice encourages us to focus on what we can control, our responses, our attitudes, and our actions. Incorporating negative visualization into your morning routine can transform how you approach your day. Instead of stepping out the door, blind to the potential challenges ahead, you're mentally equipped to face them. It's like a mental training session where you strengthen your resilience muscles, so when life inevitably throws a curveball your way, you're not knocked off your feet. You've already rehearsed this moment in your mind and can draw upon your pre-visualized strategies to navigate through it. Moreover, this practice has a beautiful, somewhat paradoxical effect. It enhances our gratitude for the present moment. By imagining life without some of the things we take for granted, we come back to reality with a renewed appreciation for them. It's a reminder of how much we have to be thankful for right now, in this moment. This isn't about dwelling in fear of loss, but about using the thought of it to deepen our appreciation for the here and now. So how do we practice negative visualization in a healthy, constructive way? Start with a few moments in the morning to contemplate potential challenges of the day, or broader future possibilities. Visualize how you would ideally respond, what strengths you would draw upon, what lessons you could learn, and how you could grow from the experience. Then, let go of the visualization and proceed with your day, carrying with you a sense of preparedness and an enhanced appreciation for your current circumstances. Incorporating gratitude into our lives, especially as we end our day, can have a transformative impact on our well-being and outlook. Keeping a gratitude journal is a beautifully simple yet profoundly effective way to cultivate this sense of appreciation. It's about taking a few moments before we sleep to reflect on the day and jot down a few things we're grateful for. This could be anything, from a kind gesture from a stranger, a beautiful sunset, the completion of a challenging task, or simply the comfort of our bed waiting to embrace us at the end of a long day. The act of writing down what we're grateful for shifts our focus from what's lacking in our lives to the abundance that's already present. It's a practice that aligns perfectly with Stoic teachings, which emphasize focusing on what we have rather than what we don't, on what's within our control rather than what isn't. This shift in perspective not only sets the stage for a peaceful night's sleep free from the turmoil of unfulfilled desires or lingering frustrations, but it also primes our minds to begin the next day with a sense of purpose and appreciation. But why end the day with gratitude? Because it allows us to close our day on a note of positivity, regardless of the challenges we may have faced. It's a way of reaffirming the good in our lives, of finding peace even in turmoil, and of nurturing a mindset that sees opportunities for growth and joy in every circumstance. This nightly practice of gratitude creates a ripple effect, influencing not just how we sleep, but how we wake up and approach our mornings. It transforms our first thoughts of the day from groans over the alarm clock to a quiet anticipation of what the new day holds, what new things we might discover to be grateful for. Moreover, this practice of appreciating our life extends beyond our personal sphere. It enhances our relationships as we become more attuned to the value of those around us and more expressive of our appreciation for their presence in our lives. It deepens our connection to the world as we become more observant of and thankful for the beauty and wonder that surround us, often in the most mundane moments. So, as we consider the multitude of strategies to enrich our mornings and, by extension, our lives, let's not overlook the power of ending our day with gratitude. It's a practice that embodies the Stoic pursuit of a good life, one marked not by external achievements or material possessions, but by inner peace, contentment, and a deep-seated appreciation for the present moment. As we wrap up this journey through the 10 strategies inspired by Stoicism, it's clear that each step, each practice is more than just a task. It's a pathway to cultivating a life of intention, resilience, and profound gratitude. Embracing these practices doesn't mean every day will be perfect, but it does mean that every day will be met with a stronger, more grateful, and more resilient you. You have within you the power to transform not just your mornings, but your entire life into a reflection of the Stoic ideals of virtue, wisdom, and contentment. Did you know that most of us are only tapping into a fraction of our true potential? That's right. Somewhere beneath the daily grind, the endless to-dos, and the comfort of routine lies a powerhouse of untapped strength and capabilities. It's like discovering an old dusty lamp in your attic, only to realize it's been a treasure chest all along. This is the kind of rut that sneaks up on all of us from time to time. But here's where it gets interesting. According to Stoic philosophy, we're not just passive observers of our lives. We're the architects. Stoicism teaches us that our potential is a powerful force, shaped moment by moment through our actions and decisions. It's not enough to recognize your potential. You have to live it, breathe it, and make choices every day that reflect it. Now, let's get real for a moment. If you feel like you're not living up to your full potential, you're not alone. It's a common feeling, but common doesn't mean harmless. It's a sign, a nudge, really, that it's time to wake up, to shake off the dust of complacency, and to start steering your life with intention and purpose. Why settle for just getting by when you could be shooting for the stars? So, why do we get stuck? It's often because we're avoiding discomfort. We stick to routines, to the known paths because they're safe. But Stoicism invites us to look beyond comfort, to see the growth that comes from challenge, from pushing beyond our limits. It's about being proactive, about facing life head-on with courage and resilience. This isn't just about surviving, it's about thriving. Think about this. Every day, you have a choice. You can continue to live as you are, or you can take a step, however small, towards something greater. It's not about massive leaps or overnight success. It's about gradual, consistent effort. And yes, it's tough. Yes, it's uncomfortable. But isn't a bit of discomfort worth it if it means realizing your true potential? That's what we're diving into today. How to step out of the shadow of mediocrity and into the light of your greatest potential. How to live not just any life, but a life filled with purpose, achievement, and true fulfillment. And if you appreciate what we're doing here, a simple, free favor I'll ask: hit that subscribe button. Let's explore how to make every day a testament to what you are truly capable of achieving. No more excuses, no more waiting for the perfect moment. It starts now. Let's talk about a trap so many of us fall into without even realizing it: mediocrity. It's a silent, creeping fog that envelops life so gradually you might not notice until you're completely engulfed. It's settling for good enough instead of pushing for great. And it's not about shaming ourselves or others for not being overachievers. It's about recognizing when we're holding back from our true potential. You see, mediocrity isn't just about lack of achievement or settling into the lower tiers of your abilities. It's more insidious. It shows up in the excuses we make for why we can't move forward, in the procrastination of tasks that could lead to improvement, and in the comfort zone that keeps us from stepping into challenges. It's the "I'll start Monday," or "I'm just not good at this." It's these small, seemingly benign thoughts and actions that cement a mediocre life. The Stoics, however, had a powerful antidote to this plight. They believed in living according to virtue and reason, striving to reach a state of moral and philosophical self-mastery that transcends the ordinary. For them, the pursuit of a virtuous life was the pursuit of the best version of oneself. They challenged themselves to turn obstacles into opportunities and regarded every hardship as a chance to practice virtues like courage, temperance, justice, and wisdom. Incorporating this Stoic mindset can shift how we perceive and tackle mediocrity. It's about asking yourself, am I acting out of habit or choice? Is this truly all I am capable of, or am I capable of more? These questions aren't meant to criticize, but to awaken. They're prompts that push us to reflect and then act with more intention. When we live stoically, we live deliberately. We make choices that are not just easy or convenient, but that are aligned with our greatest good and our most authentic selves. So, how do we break free from the rut of mediocrity? It starts with awareness. Acknowledge where you're accepting less than you deserve or could achieve. Maybe it's in your job, where you do the bare minimum because the passion has fizzled out, or in your relationships, where you hold back from deeper connection due to fear of vulnerability, or perhaps it's in your personal goals, which you've put on indefinite hold. Once you identify these areas, challenge them, not all at once, but little by little. Set goals that scare you a bit. Reach out to someone who inspires you. Take up a project that requires you to learn and grow. The key is consistent, incremental effort. And yes, there will be failures and setbacks. But remember, as the Stoics teach, it's not the events themselves that disturb us, but our judgments about them. Each setback is a chance to learn, to adjust, and to try again with a deeper understanding, strength, and resolve. And let's not forget about the company we keep. Just as mediocrity can be contagious, so too can ambition and growth. Surround yourself with people who challenge you, who encourage you, who help you to rise up. Community is a powerful catalyst for transformation. In a group where excellence is nurtured, you'll find it hard not to grow. We all have that voice inside our head, the one that whispers doubts and feeds on our fears. It's like a constant companion whose favorite hobby is talking us out of our dreams and aspirations. But here's the thing. That voice, your inner critic, doesn't have to dictate your life. It's time to take back control, to silence the doubts, and to transform the way you engage with yourself. The Stoics had a fascinating approach to dealing with the internal dialogue that holds us back. They taught that we should not be disturbed by our thoughts because they are not the truth of who we are. They are merely impressions that come and go. Instead, they encouraged us to question our initial reactions to things, to challenge the validity of those negative whispers, and to respond with reason and virtue. This is where the practice of proj, or attention, becomes vital. It involves being mindful of our thoughts and the judgments we make about them, ensuring they align with our true character and aspirations. And now, think about how often you've caught yourself saying, "I can't do this, I'm not good enough," or "I'm just not cut out for this." These statements are your inner critic's way of keeping you within the bounds of what's comfortable. But growth, as we know from Stoic wisdom, is born from discomfort. By recognizing these thoughts as mere opinions, not facts, you empower yourself to challenge and change them. How do you practically kill your inner critic? Start by observing your thoughts as an outsider. When a negative thought arises, pause and reflect. Is this thought helpful? Does it align with my goals? Is it a rational response or an emotional one steeped in fear? This practice, inspired by the Stoic exercise of reflection, allows you to detach from harmful self-criticism and respond with a more rational, compassionate perspective. Let's also talk about the power of counter-narratives. For every critical thought that arises, actively construct a positive counterpart. If your mind says you're going to fail, counter it with, I have prepared as best as I can, and I will learn from whatever comes. This isn't about sugarcoating reality. It's about providing a balanced view that includes your strengths and capabilities. Moreover, Stoicism teaches us to embrace challenges as opportunities to test and refine our virtues. So when your inner critic tries to steer you away from a challenge, see it as an opportunity to practice courage and perseverance. Each time you confront a fear or doubt, you weaken the hold your inner critic has on you and strengthen your commitment to personal excellence. It's also helpful to cultivate an environment that reinforces your new mindset. Surround yourself with affirmations, whether they be quotes from your favorite Stoic philosophers, reminders of your past successes, or simple affirmations of your worth and capability. These serve as constant reminders of your path and help drown out the noise of your inner critic. Lastly, remember that silencing your inner critic is a journey, not a one-time event. It requires patience, persistence, and a lot of self-compassion. Mistakes will be made, and that's okay. What's important is that you keep moving forward. Keep challenging those negative thoughts, and keep aligning your actions with your true potential. Stepping out of your comfort zone might sound like a cliché plastered over countless motivational posters and self-help books, but there's profound truth hidden in those words, especially when viewed through the lens of Stoicism. The Stoics weren't just philosophers, they were practitioners of life, and they believed deeply in the value of testing one's spirit against the friction of the world. It's in the struggle, they argued, that we find our true strength. Let's break down what this means in everyday terms. Discomfort isn't just about physical strain or emotional stress. It's about confronting the parts of life that you instinctively want to avoid. It could be as simple as waking up an hour earlier to meditate or exercise, or as challenging as speaking up in a meeting when you'd rather blend into the background. These moments of discomfort are actually opportunities, golden tickets to the kind of personal growth that creates lasting change. When you deliberately choose discomfort, you're doing something quite revolutionary. You're saying to yourself and the world that you're not content to remain stagnant. You're echoing the Stoic practice of voluntary discomfort, where you might choose to wear simpler clothes, eat simpler food, or expose yourself to the cold, not as a punishment, but as a way to remind yourself that you can handle less than optimal conditions, and thus you are stronger than you think. The beauty of embracing discomfort in this controlled way is that it prepares you for life's unpredictable challenges. Think about it. If you make it a habit to push your boundaries in small, everyday ways, you're building up a resilience that's akin to a muscle. Then, when life throws something truly difficult your way, a job loss, a tough diagnosis, a personal setback, you're better equipped to handle it. You're not easily knocked down because you've practiced standing up again and again. Moreover, Stoicism teaches that our character is shaped not by our thoughts alone, but by our repeated actions. Each time you choose to step into discomfort, you're sculpting a version of yourself that's a bit tougher, a bit braver, a bit wiser. And over time, these qualities accumulate, crafting a persona that not only survives challenges, but thrives through them. To start integrating this practice into your life, begin with something small. Identify one thing that you've been avoiding because it feels uncomfortable or challenging. Set a goal to tackle it this week. Maybe it's initiating a difficult conversation you've been putting off, or committing to a public speaking engagement despite your fear of crowds. Notice the resistance that comes up. the excuses, the justifications, and gently remind yourself of your ability to endure and adapt. As you do this, it's crucial to maintain a mindset of curiosity and non-judgment. Observe how you feel before, during, and after the experience. What did you learn? How did your perception of the challenge change? How did your perception of yourself change? These reflections are invaluable, as they help solidify the lessons learned from each experience of discomfort. Remember, embracing discomfort is not about tormenting yourself or seeking out pain for pain's sake. It's about expanding your boundaries, one small step at a time, in ways that enhance your life and deepen your character. It's about living in accordance with Stoic principles that value growth and resilience over comfort and ease. This approach doesn't just prepare you for life's challenges, it transforms them into the very experiences that shape a bold, capable, and virtuous life. One of the most powerful tools in your personal development arsenal is accountability. It's like having a workout buddy for your goals. You know the feeling. When someone else is counting on you, you're way less likely to hit snooze or skip out. But here's the twist. In the journey toward living your best life, you're not just accountable to others. You're primarily accountable to yourself. And that's where the real growth happens. In Stoicism, there's a heavy emphasis on personal responsibility and self-discipline. The Stoics believe that our character and our lives are the results of our choices. They teach us to own these choices and to face the consequences with courage and integrity. This sense of responsibility toward oneself is fundamental because it underpins everything. From your daily routines to your life's ambitions, let's talk about how you can enhance your sense of accountability. It starts with making your goals visible. Write them down, not in a private journal tucked away in a drawer, but somewhere you can see them every day. It could be a big whiteboard in your room, a note on your fridge, or even a digital reminder that pops up on your phone. Visibility reminds you of your commitments and helps keep them at the forefront of your mind. Next, integrate regular check-ins on your progress. This could be a weekly review where you sit down and ask yourself some hard questions. What did I accomplish this week? Where did I fall short? What can I do differently moving forward? These sessions aren't about beating yourself up for missed targets or lapses. Instead, they're opportunities for honest, constructive self-reflection. A practice deeply rooted in Stoic philosophy. The Stoics were all about self-examination and learning from every action and outcome. Sharing your goals with someone else can also magnify your commitment. Choose a friend, a family member, or even a mentor. Someone who will not just cheer for you but will also call you out when you're off track. This creates a layer of external accountability, which can be incredibly motivating. It's about creating a social contract where you feel a sense of duty not to let the other person down, which in turn strengthens your resolve to meet your own expectations. In addition to involving others, there's a Stoic method that can be particularly effective: envisioning the ideal version of yourself. Seneca, one of the prominent Stoic philosophers, encouraged frequent contemplation of one's highest potential. By regularly imagining yourself as the person you aspire to become, you create a mental benchmark for your actions. Ask yourself regularly, is what I'm doing right now aligning with the virtues of the person I strive to be? This mental modeling acts as a North Star, guiding your daily choices and efforts. Let's not underestimate the power of setting up a system that rewards your progress. The rewards don't have to be extravagant. They just need to acknowledge your efforts and successes. This could be as simple as treating yourself to a favorite meal, taking a day off to relax, or buying that small thing you've been eyeing for a while. Rewards reinforce positive behavior and make the journey enjoyable, which is essential because, let's face it, the path to self-improvement can be tough and demanding. It's often said that you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. This saying has more truth to it than you might realize at first glance. The people around us have a profound impact on our thoughts, behaviors, and ultimately, our success. But it's not just about success in the conventional sense. It's about growing as a person, cultivating wisdom, and building a life that's rich in character and satisfaction. Stoic philosophy places a strong emphasis on community and relationships because the Stoics understood that humans are inherently social creatures. We influence each other in countless ways, many of which are subtle and subconscious. Seneca, a renowned Stoic thinker, advised choosing friends who embody the traits we wish to develop, suggesting that their characteristics would naturally rub off on us. By surrounding ourselves with people who are wise, virtuous, and purpose-driven, we are more likely to adopt these qualities ourselves. Think about the people you spend most of your time with. Are they ambitious, optimistic, and resilient? Do they challenge you to think differently, push your boundaries, and question your assumptions? Or do they uphold the status quo, resist change, and nurture negativity? It's essential to make these assessments honestly and decide if your circle is pulling you forward or holding you back. Creating a powerful network doesn't mean you need to start cutting people out of your life ruthlessly. Instead, it's about consciously deciding to spend more time with those who inspire you and support your growth. This can mean reaching out to mentors, joining clubs or groups aligned with your interests, or even connecting with like-minded individuals online. The key is to engage with people who not only support your goals but also encourage you to surpass them. Moreover, Stoicism teaches us about the importance of contributing to our community. It's not just about what you can get from your relationships, but also what you can give. Being a valuable member of your network involves offering support, sharing knowledge, and being genuinely happy for others' successes. The more you invest in your relationships, the richer your interactions become, and the more profound their impact on your life. This concept of mutual growth is vital. As you strive to be the best version of yourself, you should also seek to uplift those around you. This can be through simple actions like providing a listening ear, offering encouragement during challenging times, or sharing resources that have helped you. Each of these actions strengthens your connections and builds a network that is not just beneficial, but also meaningful. It's a harsh reality, but some people in our lives take pleasure in causing harm and chaos. Think about it. You could be sharing moments, trusting someone, only to discover they are the very source of your turmoil. Today, we dive deep into a topic that's as fascinating as it is frightening. Recognizing the signs you're dealing with an evil person. Whether it's a colleague, a friend, or even a family member, these individuals can be masters of deception, hiding their true nature behind charm and charisma. Today, we're not just exploring this dark side of human behavior out of curiosity. Understanding these signs can be life-changing. The Stoics believed in the power of perception and the importance of living a life guided by reason and virtue. By identifying and understanding these toxic traits, we can protect our peace of mind and cultivate healthier relationships, staying true to the principles of wisdom and self-control. Stay with us as we uncover 5 telltale signs of an evil person. By the end of this video, you'll not only be better equipped to spot these behaviors, but also learn practical ways to safeguard your mental health and well-being. And if you appreciate what we're doing here, a simple, free favor I'll ask from you is to hit the subscribe button. Please don't skip any part of the video. You won't want to miss our special bonus section, where I'll share an effective strategy for setting firm boundaries with these individuals. Let's embark on this journey of self-awareness and resilience together. Number 1, charming and charismatic at first. When we talk about people who seem charming and charismatic at first, it's important to remember that appearances can be deceiving. These individuals often have a way of lighting up a room, making everyone around them feel special and valued. They know exactly what to say to make you feel like you've just made a new best friend. At first glance, they seem like the perfect person, witty, engaging, and seemingly interested in your life. It's easy to get swept up in their charm, thinking you've found someone truly special. However, the Stoics teach us to look beyond the surface and seek the truth through rational thought and observation. Over time, you might start to notice little cracks in their facade. Maybe they always need to be the center of attention, overshadowing others in social settings. They might talk over you, interrupt you, or even subtly put you down in front of others. These aren't just quirks or signs of an extroverted personality. They're red flags. The Stoics would advise us to observe these behaviors with a clear mind, unclouded by the initial excitement of their charisma. Imagine being at a party where this person is the life of the event, telling jokes and captivating the crowd. At first, it feels great to be in their orbit, but as the evening progresses, you realize they're dominating every conversation, making everything about themselves. When you try to share something about your life, they quickly redirect the topic back to them. This is where the principle of apatheia, a state of being undisturbed by external things, comes in handy. By staying emotionally balanced, you can see through their charming act and recognize the self-centered nature underneath. It's also crucial to pay attention to how they react when things don't go their way. A person who is genuinely kind and caring will handle disappointments and disagreements with grace and understanding. But someone who is merely playing a role to gain your trust might quickly become angry or defensive. They might lash out or try to manipulate the situation to regain control. According to Stoic wisdom, such reactions are clear indicators of a lack of virtuous character. Marcus Aurelius reminds us to be wary of those who display signs of anger and manipulation, as these are not the traits of a rational and virtuous person. The key here is to take your time and trust your instinct. The Stoics believed in the power of observation and the importance of not rushing to judgment based on first impressions. Epictetus taught that we should carefully evaluate the character of those we allow into our inner circle. So, if someone seems too good to be true, give yourself the space to observe their actions over time. Notice how they treat others, especially when they think no one is watching. True character is revealed in how a person behaves when they aren't trying to impress anyone. Remember, not everyone who seems charming and charismatic has good intentions. Some people use their charm as a tool for manipulation. By staying grounded and mindful, you can protect yourself from being taken in by a superficial facade. Stay true to the principles of wisdom and discernment, and you'll be better equipped to navigate these complex social interactions. Another crucial sign to watch out for: a lack of empathy. Empathy is the ability to understand and share the feelings of others. It's what allows us to connect deeply with those around us, to offer support when it's needed, and to create meaningful relationships. However, there are individuals out there who seem to completely lack this essential human trait. They don't care about how their actions or words affect others, and this can have a devastating impact on those around them. The Stoics believed in the importance of compassion and understanding as fundamental virtues. Marcus Aurelius often spoke about the interconnectedness of humanity and the need to consider the well-being of others as part of our own well-being. So, when we encounter someone who shows a blatant disregard for the feelings of others, it's a serious red flag. Imagine you're sharing something deeply personal with a friend, hoping for some comfort or understanding. Instead of showing any genuine concern, they brush off your feelings or even mock your vulnerability. This lack of empathy can make you feel isolated and misunderstood. It's not just about them not being there for you in tough times. It's also about them failing to share in your joy or celebrate your successes. A person who lacks empathy won't cheer for your achievements. They might even undermine them or take credit themselves. This behavior is not just limited to personal relationships. Consider a boss who pushes their employees to the brink, showing no concern for their well-being. They might demand long hours without fair compensation, ignore requests for time off, or publicly criticize employees in a way that's meant to humiliate rather than constructively guide. This creates a toxic work environment where people feel undervalued and stressed. The Stoics would advise us to maintain our inner peace and integrity in such situations, recognizing that the lack of empathy in others is a reflection of their character, not ours. Furthermore, A lack of empathy can lead to more sinister behaviors. People who cannot empathize with others may engage in actions that are outright cruel or without any sense of guilt or remorse. They might lie, cheat, or even inflict physical harm without a second thought about the pain they're causing. The Stoic philosopher Seneca emphasized the importance of kindness and justice, teaching that our actions should always reflect our inner virtue. When someone lacks empathy, they're fundamentally disconnected from these values. Lack of empathy is also evident in smaller, everyday interactions. For example, you might notice that someone constantly interrupts conversations to talk about themselves, shows little interest in what others have to say, or fails to offer help when it's clearly needed. These might seem like minor annoyances at first, but they add up to a pattern of behavior that reveals a deeper issue. The Stoics would remind us to be observant and discerning, understanding that these small signs are indicative of a person's true character. If you find yourself dealing with someone who consistently lacks empathy, it's important to set boundaries to protect your own mental and emotional health. The Stoics believed in the importance of maintaining our own well-being and not allowing the negativity of others to disturb our peace. You have the right to distance yourself from those who drain your energy and bring you down. Another major sign of an evil person is manipulation. Manipulation occurs when someone uses deceit or cunning tactics to control or influence others to get what they want. It's a subtle, often insidious behavior that can be incredibly damaging to those on the receiving end. Manipulators are skilled at twisting situations, making you question your reality and bending your will to suit their needs. This can leave you feeling confused, powerless, and unsure of your own judgments. Let's think about manipulation from a Stoic perspective. The Stoics valued clarity of thought and the ability to see things as they truly are. They taught that our perceptions should be grounded in reality and that we should remain steadfast in our principles, no matter the external pressures. When someone manipulates you, they are attempting to cloud your perception and distort reality, making it difficult for you to stay true to these Stoic ideals. The common form of manipulation is gaslighting, where the manipulator tries to make you doubt your own memory, perception, or sanity. They might deny that certain events happened, or they might twist your words and actions to make you feel at fault. For example, let's say you confront a friend about something hurtful they said. Instead of acknowledging it, they might turn the tables, accusing you of being overly sensitive or misremembering the situation. This can erode your confidence and make you reliant on the manipulator's version of reality. Manipulators are also adept at playing the victim. They might guilt-trip you into doing things you don't want to do by making you feel responsible for their happiness or well-being. You might have a friend who constantly complains about their problems, expecting you to drop everything to help them, yet they are never there for you in return. They might say things like, "If you were really my friend, you'd do this for me," making you feel obligated to comply. The Stoics, especially Epictetus, emphasize the importance of understanding what is within our control and what is not. We cannot control others' actions or emotions, only our response to them. Consider how a manipulator might use flattery or charm to get their way. At first, this can feel great. They might shower you with compliments and make you feel special. But over time, you might notice that their praise comes with strings attached. They might compliment you when they want something from you, or when they need you to do something for them. This can make you feel like you owe them, or that you need to live up to their expectations to maintain their approval. The Stoics would remind us that true virtue and self-worth come from within, not from the fleeting approval of others. Manipulation can also take the form of isolation. A manipulative person might try to cut you off from your friends and family, making you more dependent on them. They might say things like, "Your friends don't really care about you," or "Your family doesn't understand you like I do." This tactic makes it easier for them to control you because you become more reliant on them for support and validation. The Stoics believed in maintaining strong, supportive relationships with others, recognizing that we are social beings who thrive in community. Isolation goes against these principles, as it weakens our support network and makes us more vulnerable to manipulation. Financial manipulation is another tactic used by evil people. They might borrow money, never repay it, or they might control your finances to limit your independence. For instance, a partner might insist on managing all the money in the relationship, making you ask for permission to spend anything. This control over finances can make it difficult for you to leave the relationship or assert your independence. The Stoics would encourage us to seek self-sufficiency and independence, ensuring that we are not unduly influenced or controlled by others. Recognizing manipulation for what it is can be challenging, especially when you care about the person involved. The Stoics teach us to be vigilant and discerning, to see things clearly and to act with integrity. If you suspect someone is manipulating you, take a step back and assess the situation objectively. Are they consistently prioritizing their needs over yours? Do they make you feel guilty or unsure of yourself? Are they trying to control aspects of your life or isolate you from others? It's important to set firm boundaries with manipulators and stand your ground. Communicate clearly and assertively about what you will and will not tolerate. Remember, you have the right to your own thoughts, feelings, and actions. The Stoics remind us that while we cannot control how others behave, we can control how we respond. By maintaining our inner strength and clarity, we can protect ourselves from the harmful effects of manipulation and stay true to our values. One of the most glaring signs of an evil person: controlling behavior. This goes beyond mere preferences or quirks. It's about someone who seeks to dominate every aspect of your life, leaving little room for your own autonomy and decisions. Controlling individuals often disguise their behavior as concern or care, but underneath, it's about power and control. The Stoics, who valued personal freedom and self-control, would see this behavior as fundamentally opposed to living a virtuous life. Controlling behavior can manifest in many ways. For instance, you might have a friend who insists on always choosing where you go and what you do together. While it might seem harmless at first, over time you start to realize that your preferences and opinions are consistently ignored or overridden. They might say things like, "I know what's best for us," or "You'll have more fun if you just listen to me." This isn't about mutual decision-making. It's about one person exerting their will over another. In relationships, controlling behavior can become even more dangerous. A partner might monitor your whereabouts, demand constant updates on your activities, and even dictate who you can and cannot see. They might go through your phone, check your messages, or insist on knowing all your passwords. This kind of surveillance and micromanagement can make you feel trapped and anxious, constantly walking on eggshells to avoid conflict. The Stoics, particularly Epictetus, emphasize the importance of maintaining your own inner freedom and autonomy, regardless of external pressures. Control can also come in the form of financial manipulation. A controlling partner or family member might take charge of all financial decisions, doling out money as they see fit, and keeping you financially dependent on them. They might say, "I handle the money because you're not good with finances." Or, "It's easier if I just take care of everything." This can strip you of your financial independence and make it difficult to leave the relationship or assert your own choices. The Stoics believed in self-sufficiency and managing your own resources wisely, viewing financial control as a form of enslavement that must be resisted. Another way controlling behavior shows up is through isolation. A controlling person might try to cut you off from friends and family, claiming that they're the only one who truly understands or cares about you. They might criticize your loved ones, saying things like, "Your friends don't really care about you," or "Your family is toxic." Over time, you might find yourself increasingly isolated, relying solely on the controlling person for support and companionship. The Stoics recognize the importance of community and supportive relationships, seeing isolation as detrimental to both personal growth and well-being. Controlling individuals also often use threats and intimidation to maintain their power. They might threaten to leave you, harm themselves, or even hurt you if you don't comply with their demands. This creates an environment of fear and anxiety, making it difficult to think clearly or make decisions that are best for you. The Stoics, especially Seneca, taught that we should face our fears and not allow others to intimidate us into submission. And true courage and wisdom lie in standing firm against such threats and reclaiming our own power. It's important to understand that controlling behavior is about more than just wanting things done a certain way. It's about fundamentally undermining your ability to make your own choices and live your own life. The Stoics would advise us to recognize these behaviors for what they are: an attack on our autonomy and a violation of our personal freedom. By staying true to our values and maintaining our inner strength, we can resist the influence of controlling individuals and reclaim our right to live freely. If you find yourself dealing with someone who exhibits controlling behavior, it's crucial to set firm boundaries and assert your independence. Communicate clearly about your needs and limits, and don't be afraid to seek support from others who understand your situation. Remember, the Stoics teach us that we cannot control others, but we can control our own reactions and decisions. By staying grounded in our principles and valuing our own autonomy, we can protect ourselves from the harmful effects of controlling behavior and live more authentic, fulfilling lives. Another unmistakable sign of an evil person is pathological lying. This goes beyond the occasional white lie that most people tell. Pathological liars deceive constantly, often without any apparent reason. They fabricate stories, manipulate facts, and distort reality to suit their own needs or to gain an advantage over others. This behavior can be incredibly damaging to relationships, eroding trust and creating a web of deceit that's difficult to untangle. The Stoics valued truth and integrity above all else. They believed that a virtuous life was grounded in honesty and that deceit was a fundamental betrayal of one's character. Marcus Aurelius emphasized living in accordance with nature, which means aligning our actions with truth and reason. When someone lies pathologically, they are living in direct opposition to these principles, creating a false reality that benefits only themselves. Pathological lying can take many forms. It might start with small, seemingly harmless lies, like embellishing a story to make themselves look better or more interesting. Over time, these lies can escalate, covering up mistakes or wrongdoings and manipulating others to achieve their goals. A pathological liar might claim to have accomplished things they haven't, falsely take credit for others' work, or make up stories about their past to gain sympathy or admiration. This constant dishonesty creates a distorted view of reality where you can never be sure what's true and what's fabricated. Consider how a pathological liar might operate in a workplace. They might lie about their qualifications, exaggerate their contributions to projects, or spread false rumors about colleagues to sabotage them. This can create a toxic environment where trust is undermined and people are constantly on edge, unsure of who to believe. The Stoics would advise us to remain steadfast in our own integrity, not allowing ourselves to be swayed by the deceitful actions of others. Epictetus taught that we should focus on what we can control, our own thoughts and actions, and not be disturbed by the dishonesty of those around us. In personal relationships, pathological lying can be even more destructive. Imagine being in a relationship with someone who constantly lies about their whereabouts, their past, or their feelings. This behavior can make you feel insecure, anxious, and constantly questioning your own perceptions. You might find yourself doubting your memory or second-guessing your instincts, which is exactly what the liar wants. They thrive on creating confusion and instability, keeping you off balance so they can maintain control. The Stoics would remind us to trust our own judgment and not be swayed by the manipulations of others. Seneca taught that true peace comes from within, and that we should not allow the deceit of others to disturb our inner tranquility. One of the most insidious aspects of pathological lying is that it's often difficult to detect at first. Pathological liars can be incredibly convincing, telling their lies with such confidence and detail that it's hard not to believe them. They might mix truth with lies, making it even more challenging to discern what's real. This is where the Stoic principle of vigilance comes into play. We must remain observant and critical, not taking things at face value, but instead seeking the truth through careful consideration and evidence. When you catch someone in a lie, pay attention to how they react. Do they become defensive or aggressive? Do they try to turn the tables and blame you? Or do they offer a plausible explanation that seems to make sense, even if it's just another layer of deceit? A genuine person will admit to their mistakes and strive to correct them, while a pathological liar will double down on their falsehoods, weaving an even more intricate web of lies. The Stoics would counsel us to remain calm and rational in the face of such behavior, recognizing it for what it is and not allowing it to provoke us. It's also important to consider the long-term impact of pathological lying. Over time, it can erode the very foundation of trust that any relationship is built upon. Once trust is broken, it's incredibly difficult to rebuild. You might find yourself constantly suspicious, always wondering if you're being lied to again. This can lead to a toxic cycle of mistrust and resentment. The Stoics believed in the importance of building strong, honest relationships based on mutual respect and understanding. When dealing with a pathological liar, you must decide whether it's worth trying to rebuild that trust, or whether it's healthier to distance yourself from their toxic influence. If you find yourself entangled with a pathological liar, it's crucial to set firm boundaries and protect your own mental and emotional well-being. The Stoics would advise us to remain true to our own values and principles, not allowing ourselves to be dragged down by the deceit of others. Be clear about what you will and will not tolerate, and don't be afraid to walk away from a relationship or situation that is built on lies. Remember, your peace of mind and integrity are more important than maintaining a connection with someone who consistently deceives you. Now, how can you protect yourself from these harmful behaviors while maintaining your peace and integrity? Setting boundaries is one of the most crucial skills you can develop when dealing with difficult or toxic people. Boundaries are about defining what you will and will not accept in your relationships, and they are essential for protecting your mental, emotional, and even physical well-being. The Stoics, who emphasized the importance of personal integrity and inner peace, would see boundary setting as a fundamental practice for maintaining a virtuous and tranquil life. First and foremost, it's important to recognize that setting boundaries is not about being harsh or unkind. It's about respecting yourself and ensuring that others respect you as well. The Stoics believed in the importance of self-respect and living in harmony with our true nature. By setting clear boundaries, you are not only protecting yourself, but also fostering healthier interactions with others. When it comes to setting boundaries, clarity is key. You need to be specific about what behaviors you will not tolerate and communicate this clearly and assertively. For example, if you have a friend who frequently belittles you or puts you down, you might say, "I appreciate our friendship, but I won't tolerate being spoken to in a disrespectful manner. If this continues, I will have to distance myself." This approach is direct and leaves no room for misinterpretation. According to Stoic principles, this kind of clear communication helps maintain order and respect in relationships. Another important aspect of setting boundaries is consistency. It's not enough to state your boundaries once and expect others to adhere to them without reminders. You must consistently enforce your boundaries even when it's uncomfortable or difficult. The Stoics, particularly Epictetus, emphasized the importance of discipline and perseverance. By consistently upholding your boundaries, you demonstrate self-respect and teach others how to treat you. If someone repeatedly crosses your boundaries, it's a clear sign that they do not respect you or your limits, and it may be necessary to reassess the relationship. It's also important to remember that setting boundaries is not a one-time event but an ongoing process. As relationships evolve, your boundaries may need to be adjusted. For instance, in a work environment, you might need to set boundaries around your availability and workload to prevent burnout. You could say to a colleague or supervisor, "I am happy to help with this project, but I cannot take on additional tasks beyond my current responsibilities." The Stoics would advise us to balance our duties and not overextend ourselves to the detriment of our well-being. One of the most challenging aspects of setting boundaries is dealing with the pushback or resistance you might encounter. People who are used to getting their way, especially those with controlling or manipulative tendencies, may not take kindly to your newfound assertiveness. They might react with anger, guilt-tripping, or even attempts to undermine your confidence. The Stoics teach us to remain calm and steadfast in the face of such challenges. Marcus Aurelius wrote about the importance of maintaining our composure and not being swayed by the negative emotions of others. When you encounter resistance, stay firm and remind yourself that your boundaries are necessary for your well-being. In some cases, setting boundaries might mean making difficult decisions, such as distancing yourself from certain individuals or even ending relationships that are toxic or harmful. This can be a painful process, but it's essential for preserving your mental and emotional health. The Stoics would remind us that our primary responsibility is to our own virtue and well-being. Seneca often spoke about the importance of choosing our associations wisely, recognizing that the company we keep can significantly impact our character and happiness. By distancing yourself from those who consistently violate your boundaries, you are making a powerful statement about your self-worth and commitment to living a virtuous life. It's also helpful to seek support from others when setting boundaries. This could mean talking to trusted friends, family members, or a therapist about your experiences and getting their input and encouragement. Sharing your struggles and successes with boundary setting can provide you with valuable perspective and strengthen your resolve. The Stoics valued community and the support of like-minded individuals. Marcus Aurelius often reflected on the interconnectedness of humanity and the importance of mutual support. By leaning on your support network, you can find the strength to uphold your boundaries and maintain your well-being.